Welcome to This Week in the SFL. Alongside Paul Sarp, I'm Cameron Irvine. Season 20, Week 13 edition. 1 week left, Paul. +1 here tonight on Impact Monday with San Diego and DC. Coming up later, we got plenty to recap this week. How you doing, Paul?
I'm doing great, Cam. Another exciting, fun week of SFL action, and can't wait to get into the highlights with you.
If Week 12 was the bombshell we were all waiting for to make everything crazy and shiny and new, Week 13 was a little bit of a crash back to reality for some teams, but it was fun all the same. Let's roll through the headlines. First, we start with two teams that have clinched the division. Most new about Vancouver, they have clinched their 5th straight Pacific crown. They're the only team to ever win a Pacific Division title, and Fort Worth has officially clinched the South Division. They take it away from Mexico City with their win, coupled with the Aztec loss. An Apex upset. Charleston tops Arizona. They hand Arizona their second loss in a row. And a legendary comeback, Paul. Minnesota, 15 points in the final minute, stuns Lou and puts Louisiana outside the top 12. What stood out to you on this busy weekend in the SFL?
Oh, to me, most definitely that Minnesota comeback. To be able to watch that live and watch that whole game and see the back and forth battle between Louisiana and Minnesota, all for Minnesota to come back 15 points in the final minute. Just incredible performance by the legend there.
So congrats to Fort Worth and Vancouver. Minnesota is now in the driver's seat after the Tulsa loss. All they got to do is beat Sioux Falls, and they will win the Central Division. If they lose and Tulsa wins, it's Tulsa's division after Indianapolis's upset loss to LA. Let's roll to the highlights. Let's go to Charleston, where Kentez Johnson and Jay Hayden got off to a fast start. Jay Hayden facing his former team now as the Charleston head coach. 10-0 Predators in the second quarter. Ashley Jackson is going to be picked off here. She struggled on the day. That's one of 3 interceptions. John Stamango returns it up to midfield, and Charleston would turn that into a field goal. 13-0. Ashley Jackson frustrated. DJ Moses in the third quarter. He'd get it moving, breaking off tackles, and nobody standing in his way. Finally, Arizona on the board.
A great run there from DJ Moses to be held scoreless in the first half. You got to get points up, and DJ Moses definitely did that there.
Johnson on the next drive is picked off, and right here you started to think, Paul, that maybe Charleston's going to give this one away, but Ashley Jackson instead gives it away to the Preds. Another pick and another return for the Predators. Now, the very next play. Watch Saren Storm. Haven't seen much of this all season. Get off me! He is out of here! No one going to catch him. Saren Storm, 266 yards coming into the game. Paul, he had over 100 in this one.
Heck of a run there and a heck of a performance against one of the best teams in the league in the Scorpions. And as you mentioned, haven't seen a whole lot of Saren Storm this season, but really had his statement and breakout game here. And I can't wait to see this again. Throwing the defender off him. He said, "Get off me." And just off to the races. Just a great run and a great performance by Saren Storm this weekend. Didn't
even need some of those blocks. That put Arizona in trouble. Now 4th and 2, down 20-13, and Kevin Brackett knocks it away. Yes, Charleston. 8.5-point dogs at home. A 2-8 record up against the 8-2 Arizona Scorpions. They get the victory. Ashley Jackson sat down with Jacob Clear, Charleston's OC and co-owner, after the game.
Welcome back to PGI, where I am joined with a good friend of mine, Mr. Jacob Clear. He is the owner and coach too. One of the coaches.
OC.
Yeah, that's a coordinator for the Charleston Predators that just had a fantastic win over the Arizona Scorpions. Man, I know you're feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah, look, I mean, in one sense, it is a really good feeling. I mean, we've won 2 on the bounce now. We came out and beat Denver after a fairly lengthy losing streak, then had the bye to prepare for this one. This was, in a sense, it was kind of our Super Bowl the way the season went, and the historical context with Jay Hayden was kind of, this was one that we really put a lot of effort into, even though it didn't impact our season per se. It was more so an effort to get some confidence back into the locker room as we look forward to future prosperities. And yeah, look, we were really proud of what we put up, both on either side of the ball. I think it's the first real proper game we saw from Sarah Storm that we have kind of been working towards all season, and that was probably the highlight of the game, was that one run that we managed to get out of him where he stiff-armed Iverson Gamble. That was a pretty magical moment in the locker room watching that play unfold, and that's kind of what we've been looking for as the season's progressed. Just hasn't quite come it hasn't come to be as to what we've hoped for, but a massive result.
So what do you think changed with your game plan for this game versus all the ones preceding this one? Because you seem to be a completely different team. You seem to have a completely different look and had an answer for everything.
We did. I mean, from my perspective, I overhauled the playbook leading into the Denver game. Prior to that, we kind of kept a pretty similar game plan, and that kind of it hurt us in a lot of ways because we were just not really moving the ball the way we wanted to. And I think that Arizona game is the perfect example of what we were trying to get at with the way we were playing. It wasn't perfect per se, but in terms of the key principles of our game plan, I thought that was what we've been really working towards. And it was again represented in that Denver game because we played differently again in that. But this week was just, we've had a real issue trying to combat certain, particularly man coverages this season, just because our receivers aren't quite there. And so it's kind of been an effort of trying to work out how to fix those kinks in the playbook up where we can try and beat those coverages. And the matchups kind of fell in our favor in the Arizona game. It wasn't to say that Arizona didn't play well. It was just we kind of won the 50-50 battles on the day. And that's how we got the win.
Well, I learned from that interview, Paul, that everyone has a guitar except me. Ashley's had one a couple times in her room in these interviews. Jacob has one. Do you have one in your room, Paul?
I unfortunately not, so I'll
okay.
join you there on that one, so you're
all
not
right.
alone there.
Good. I'm not alone. Skippy 999 Super Chat, wishing us luck here on the show tonight. We appreciate that. J-Rock with the love in the chat as well. Smash that like button. You can catch our show and all of our SFL content on the SFL YouTube channel every week, youtube.com/simulationfl. Jacob Clear said they overhauled the playbook going into the Denver game. Paul, it does feel like a different team. What a big upset.
It was a huge win for Charleston and their organization. And as far as for Arizona, I wouldn't necessarily hit the panic button yet. That loss to Charleston was their second loss in a row. First loss was to Baltimore, and to lose to Charleston, I wouldn't necessarily hit the panic button. Just turnovers were a big factor in that game. Ashley Jackson threw 5, so there's a couple push-ups there for Ashley. But as far as Charleston goes, it was a huge win to be able to, for Jay Hayden especially, so huge shout out to him going against his former team and former mentor. Just an all-around great win and great performance by the Predators.
So they get to 3-8. They create some positive momentum going in to next season. Arizona, at this point, Paul, all I would be concerned about, what side is Baltimore on in the bracket? Right now, Arizona's the 5, so they would be on the 1 side, the 1-4 side of the bracket, which is not Baltimore's side. So if I'm Arizona, I think I agree, Paul. I wouldn't hit the panic button. I think they're still a championship contender, and they just had a stumble against the Charleston Predators. And to speak on that stumble, see what Eddie Gage had to say after the loss.
Welcome back to PGI, where I am joined with Mr. Eddie Gage, good friend of mine. He is co-owner, he is Hall of Fame strong safety, and he is also the head coach of the Arizona Scorpions that just suffered a loss to the Charleston Predators. And even though on paper the score doesn't tell the whole story about how the game actually played out. So, Mr. Gage, please tell me, how did that come to be for the Arizona Scorpions to lose to the Charleston Predators?
Charleston was the better team today. They made some changes on offense that me as a coach, I got to do a better job of preparing for. That's twice now this season that teams have made some changes that came back to bite us that I didn't anticipate. And I got to do a better job of preparing a defense to put ourselves in position to be able to make plays and get off the field regardless of the scenario. And I need to stop being so specific and trying to stop certain things and just be more prepared to have an all-around game plan to stop things in the event that they may change it. I don't anticipate that we got guys in position to make plays, and I didn't do that, and that's on me.
So, Las Vegas is the next opponent for the Arizona Scorpions, and when either team wins, they will take the division.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that the Arizona Scorpions deserve to be the division champions?
First, I don't want to take anything away from Vegas. I mean, whichever team wins this game, I feel deserves, to win that division crown. But if I'm just being selfish for a moment, since, I'm a part of the Scorpions, we work hard, not say that they don't either. I'm sure they over there putting in work too. But I got a group of guys over here and gal who been through it all, and, we've come so close, last season and winning that division title, although I think we pretty much did in the playoffs regardless, just that would be another crowning moment of achievement for this team, considering where we come from when I first got the team to finish 4-8 to where we are now. We've come a long way, and everyone in our locker room deserves to experience as much success as they can. So it's my job to put us in position to make that happen. And, they've been loyal to me, like I told TJ Punk the other day when he asked me a question about something. He's always been loyal to me, so I got to be loyal to him when he needed me. So I try to return that to you guys, and, you guys have been good to me. And I just try to pay it back to y'all. So there you have it. I love y'all, Arizona, for real.
Arizona will have a chance to clinch the West with a win over Vegas next week. Back to the highlights of teams that have clinched divisions. Jay-Z Bacon going nearly untouched, 65 yards in the first 2 minutes of this game, and you thought the Toros were going to run away with it. Jay-Z feeling it, pointing to the crowd. Yeah, that's right. The South winners. Of course, didn't know it at the time, but certainly took care of business. Bacon puts them up 7-0, now 7-7. Stephen Hacker says get off and into the ground. King Rashid, who was quiet on this day, no picks. Still trying to lead the league, set a record for 21-10, Motor City down. Ibrahim Krieta taking off and running, giving us a preview of this summer perhaps. Gets it inside the 10-yard line now. Krieta on third down and goal. Pretty ball right over the outstretched arms of the defense. Shane Kaufman with the score. Motor City down just 4.
It was a beautiful pass there, right over the defender, to be able to get back within a one-possession score in this game, as we see Krieta just lofted over the defender for an absolutely perfect pass there to score a touchdown there.
21-17, now 3:08 to go in the fourth quarter. Same score. Motor City driving, and the pass is overthrown. Delaney Nash, who's had pick sixes back-to-back weeks, steals one, puts Motor City in a very difficult position. They would get the ball back, though. 2 minutes left. 21-17. Krieta steps up in the pocket on fourth down. That is caught. First down. V8s keep the drive alive. 10.5-point dogs. They almost got it against the Toros. From the Fort Worth 36, Krieta with the pump fake, freezes the safety down the field, down to the 4-yard line. Shane Kaufman again. Motor City with another opportunity to win this football game. Kaufman terrific again. Krieta is sacked. That's sacked by Luther Gahn. his second of 2 sacks on the day. Now 3rd and goal from the 11. And Creator's pass is intercepted by Delaney Nash. He stole 2 in the 4th quarter, and Fort Worth improves to 8-3. They win 21-17. They clinched thanks in part to Mexico City's loss, 38-21 to the London Knights. Johnny Pickler was terrific, 27-33, 345 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Merrill was contained, but they couldn't keep him out of the end zone. 3 TDs there. They scored on 6 of their 9 drives. They did not turn the ball over. They were super efficient. Meanwhile, Mexico City bottled up in the run game. Talking to Ramos after the game, it was just not being able to convert 3rd downs, being in 3rd down too much, Paul, and sometimes that's just the way the game goes. Ramos said he didn't feel like his team played badly, just couldn't get it done. I mean, Sipe, good numbers, spread the ball around, everybody had a touchdown, but not to be on this one.
Yeah, looking at the numbers, definitely doesn't look as lopsided as the score may show. To me, Mexico City just couldn't get the run game going, and they just couldn't stop London's high-flying offense. London scored over 30 time after time this season. I believe they're the highest-scoring team in the SFL to this point, and when you're Johnny Pickler and you're only throwing 5 incompletions, it's going to be tough to beat London when your quarterback's playing that good. It's just that was a great win from London.
When your quarterback's feeling good or playing good, he's feeling good. Pickler, the first time this season, sat down with another future Hall of Fame quarterback, Ashley Jackson.
Welcome back to PGI, where I am joined with yet another good friend of mine, Mr. Johnny Pickner. He is GM as well as quarterback, and I think future Hall of Fame quarterback at that, of the London Knights. How are you doing?
Doing good, Ashley. Thanks for having me.
Hey, always. You guys did have a fantastic win over the Mexico City Aztecs in a dominating fashion. So how does it feel to win over one of the cornerstone teams of the league?
Any win's a good win. Mexico City, they're definitely a respectable organization. Ramos, you can never sleep on him and what he puts out there. I think a lot of teams thought they were going to be down this year, losing the legendary Matt Wilson and Mike Daggs out there on the offensive side of the ball, but they seem to pick up right where they left off, and they're a contender again. We went into that game thinking that we were the favorites in that game. I mean, the game was at Queensway. It's a really special place to play, and I think that's our 16th consecutive win at home during the regular season at Queensway. So special place to play. The fans always have our back, and we're always going to be confident and feel like favorites when we walk out in that stadium. And we executed in every facet of the game. So that's what you love to see. Coming off a rough loss last week, getting ready, gearing up for playoffs. You want to see your team execute on both sides of the ball and all facets of the game, and that's exactly what we did. So just to see that level of execution is good for our confidence going into the dance in a few weeks.
Indeed. So Johnny, tell me, you and I are close. So have you heard any criticism in regards to London ruling over a quote unquote weak division?
Yeah, I've heard criticism. I think I've given criticism. The other 3 teams are weak teams. It is what it is. Every franchise in this league is at a different stage. Some teams are in a compete to win now stage. Some teams are in rebuilding stages, retooling, resetting, whatever you want to call it. Some guys are kind of stuck in purgatory in the middle, don't know, if they should sell or buy or, quit or compete for it all, and we know that we're coming into the last couple seasons, we're a contender and we're playing to win now and to chase a championship. And the other 3 franchises that are in this division, they're just not there. And I've been one of the most critical, of stating the obvious. It's a weak division. That's why I said it's our division before the season even started. I said winning this division doesn't mean much to us. We have our goals set higher than that, But yeah, I don't. If the question is, do I care if people call the division weak? It is what it is. I mean, don't call London weak. That'd just be a mistake. But yeah, do we have the luxury of a free ticket to the playoffs, sure, and other teams like Vancouver and and other teams in history have had that in their divisions. It doesn't mean that they're not a contender come playoff time. So it is what it is, and then you look at our resume. I mean, the fact is, we may have a free division or a free ticket to the playoffs because of how weak the other three teams are, and it just is what it is. But I mean, we beat a Las Vegas, and look at what Las Vegas is doing. We just destroyed Mexico City, and Mexico City is Mexico City. We beat in Alamo City, So I mean, I'm not going to list our resume, but we have high quality wins, and so our wins just don't come against division opponents.
That strength of victory, 429 for London. That's good for upper half of the league. London keeps winning. Mexico City, though, is not, Paul, and this team has a potential. It really does exist of missing the playoffs for the first time in 14 seasons. If they lose to Fort Worth, who they just got beat badly by a few weeks ago, if they lose to Fort Worth, they're in trouble depending upon who wins in Week 14. I can't even imagine a playoffs without Mexico City in them at this point.
Yeah, it would definitely be something we're not used to seeing. As far as their team franchise history, they're first in total wins in SFL history with 125, first in home wins with 80. They've only had one season below 500% winning percentage dating back to season 6, their second season in the league. They just didn't have an answer this weekend for London, and if they go next week and play the same type of football they played against Fort Worth just a few weeks ago, we might be seeing a playoffs without Mexico City in it. And as you mentioned, Cam, definitely would be strange.
Jordan Sipe took on a huge burden, taking over for Matt Wilson this season. You can tell they're trying to figure out where their offense sits without a Mike Daggs, and without that talent from Matt Wilson. But Jordan Sipe has plenty of arm, plenty of talent. They have a great run game. Of course, that was one of the reasons why they couldn't get things moving against the London Knights, because that run game was struggling. They kind of, Paul, they remind me a little bit of Tulsa in the sense that if you can stop their run game and make them pass more than they want to, keep them behind the sticks, then you can get into a bit of trouble. And speaking of Jordan Sipe, for the first time again this season, we get a chance to hear what Jordan Sipe has to say about the Mexico City season so far, and what's to come next week.
Welcome back to PGI, where I am joined with a good friend of mine, Mr. Jordan Sipe. He is the quarterback for the Mexico City Aztecs. Man, it's been a while. How have you been?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. Always good to see you, man. You've been in the league, and I've seen you, go through your ups and downs, and it looks like you have finally found a team where your player can grow in a positive manner. Now, this recent loss to London, guys made a valiant effort in trying to come back, but it looks like it was a little bit too late. But I want to know from you, though, how has your time in Mexico City been? Because I'm looking at your players' progressions. I'm looking at your players' performance on the field, and it seems to be a world of difference than it was over in Jacksonville. So how have you been over there?
I just love being in Mexico City. I mean, just going into the locker room, it's one of a kind, and everybody acknowledges that it truly is one of a kind. I'm sure there's not a lot of locker rooms that are quite like ours. There's a lot of inside jokes, but even for me being my first year there, it doesn't seem like any of the inside jokes are too foreign to me. Like they say some things, and I'm like, wow, yeah, I can tell these guys have been together for a while. I can tell they truly love and appreciate being in this locker room together. It's just a fantastic experience.
Good to hear. That is good to hear. And how far do you think that Mexico City is going to go into the playoffs?
Wow. We have shown a lot of promise. The quarterback issue that we had last year, that I had last year, interceptions. It's minimal. Our defensive line is just absolutely ridiculous. They just get sacks all the time. I think a couple of them had 5 sacks each in one of the games. It's just crazy. We have such a great team, and even though we lost 2 out of the last 3 games, we have so much promise that any single game we can win, and we know it. We go in knowing that that the odds are never completely stacked against us, and so I think we could realistically go all the way. Whether or not we will, I'm not saying. I'm not saying if we will, but we really could. I mean, we have that defensive piece that can stop anybody on a good day. So, London had our number on offense and defense. So, congrats to them. They did just an awesome job. So, but we really could, and Ramos is just brilliant in what he does. So we know we're never counted out.
Well, you had big shoes to fill with Matt Wilson, and I think that you've been doing exceptionally well. I think you surpassed other people's expectations and probably your own. And so I want to congratulate you on it. And you guys you have the hearts of warriors. And so I can definitely see you taking a deep run into the playoffs. And Jordan, I wish you guys the best of luck, you and the entire Mexico City crew. And can't wait to see what you guys got going on for the rest of the season.
Thanks, AJ. You too.
All right. See you soon. Cam,
Yeah.
Paul, back to you.
Thanks, Ashley. Jordan Sipe seems like a good dude. Haven't gotten to meet him in person yet. Maybe we'll see him at the 2023 convention in Cincinnati. Big game for Mexico City next week. All right, let's get back to division clinchers. So Fort Worth takes care of the South with their win and Mexico City's loss. Vancouver trying to clinch the Pacific. They needed a win or a Portland loss. Kingston Ellington gets the offense going. O.J. Bruin started 6 for 6 in this game, but that is not how he would finish. 13-7. We flash forward to the fourth quarter, and Cabrian Womack is getting sacks. Makes it 3rd and long. Now 3:35 to go in the fourth. It's still the same score, Paul. This game was a slugfest all the way through, but these type of plays are the difference makers. Justice Blackwell all alone for the touchdown. I don't know how Jacksonville holds Vancouver to no touchdowns after the opening drive and then just gives up a cheap one like that. Definition of their season.
Yeah, that was a tough touchdown to let up after playing exceptional defense all game long against one of the best offenses in the league, and Vancouver just capitalizes on that moment. We've seen Justice Blackwell on the Impact Monday show a few times this season and helps his team there on that play score 6 points.
So 20-7, last chance for Jacksonville. Bruin steps up. He's sacked again. Taken down by Womack. And Bruin doesn't know where he is. 3rd and 17, 3 minutes to go. Jacksonville started 2-0. They have lost 9 straight. Drew Hamilton with the interception. That's his second of the day. Vancouver wins 23-7 to Minnesota, where we had maybe one of the most exciting games, if not the most exciting game of the week. That is a touchdown for Jay Taylor from Johnny Reno. 7-3 in the second quarter. Chris Komisak scores. Early on, it was Minnesota getting touchdown, Louisiana getting field goals in the inside the 10-yard line, and that would be the difference in the game. 3rd down and 10 at the 15. That pass called in as Louisiana puts 6 on the board this time. Lyric Da Vinci with the score. 17-9 now in the third, and Tommy Utah's throwing it up to Lyric Da Vinci. Jump man. 1st and goal at the 5.
Lyric Da Vinci having himself a game here, making catches all over the field. Tommy Utah throwing darts to him, and this one he just threw it up for him. And when you have a receiver like Da Vinci on your team, it doesn't matter how many defenders are on him.
But here's the problem. Off that touchdown, they had the extra point block. Now 3rd and goal from the Minnesota 1, and Squarebush can't get in, so they'd have to settle for another field goal and make it 17-12. That is, I'm counting 7 points left off the board in the red zone at this point. Now the fourth quarter, 3rd down and 5. Who needs the red zone? Just chuck it to Lyric, who's out of here and gives Louisiana the lead. And for the first time on this night, Minnesota started to think, oh man, I don't know if we're going to pull this out.
And a heck of a job from Louisiana, staying in it, taking all the points that they can get with field goals, and then taking a deep shot like that to give your team a lead.
Jason France on 4th down hauls it into the Louisiana 26. Second to go from the 10. Quag Mam on the ensuing drive gives Minnesota the lead. Louisiana lets him get down the field in 9 or 10 plays and get the touchdown. Quag Mam has been clutch late in games. There you see Reno, 35 of 44, 315. And on the 2-point conversion, it's Colin Hart. Good, 25-22. Minnesota comes from behind, so that's 8 points in the final minute. How in the world would they get more? Well, next play. Off the return from Hammer. I don't know why you're play actioning with 26 seconds to go. No one's fooled by that. And Minnesota takes it back. A pick six gives the Legend a 32-22 victory over Louisiana. And yeah, that route was never open from the start. Looking for Reggio De Niro. Minnesota with the win. Now to Sioux Falls, where it was the Jason Williams show. This dude was ridiculous. He did absolutely everything in this game. 13-3 in the second. Ezekiel Love struggling early. Fumbles picked up by the Sparrows. They only turned it into a field goal, Paul, but Sioux Falls set the tone for this game early.
Yeah, when you're going up against a workhorse in Ezekiel Love, you got to tailor your defense to try and stop him, and Ezekiel Love fumbling is a little unexpected, but great job from the defense to force that fumble there.
Fargo held him up, and Ringgold shut him down. Ezekiel Love would bounce back, though. Back-to-back touchdowns, and hey, don't look now, but Portland has the lead. Too much Jason Williams. Off the right side, breaks a tackle and is in. Gives Sioux Falls back the lead in the third quarter. There was no second half dip for Sioux Falls in this one. 23-17, 3rd and goal from the 4. Critical play in the game. Israel Adams is out of bounds. That could have given Portland back the lead. Instead, they had to settle for a field goal and make it 23-20. Joey Robb regretfully coming back out there. Swing City in this one, 24 receptions for Jason Williams.
Wow.
That's kind of boring for the viewers, but it worked out for Sioux Falls to stay alive in the playoffs. And when Jason Williams wasn't doing amazing things, it was Noe Terrasas over the top. Tyree making things happen, and Sioux Falls starting to pull away. Another Jason Williams run here. He'd finish off the drive. I mean, this dude was just ridiculous all day.
And that is exactly why Sioux Falls went after Jason Williams this offseason to bring him in. And kudos to Williams for the performance that he put up this weekend against a strong Portland defense.
There's the game sealer as Williams scores for the 4th time and Sioux Falls goes up 17. They would win 37-26. So Minnesota gets the win. Sioux Falls gets the win. Indianapolis gets the... Oh, what in the world happened in this one? Indianapolis doesn't even score a touchdown. 27-6 to the previously 2-8 Los Angeles Lycans, playing total spoiler. As I see that some of the stats didn't transfer over. So let's talk about Mike Scott, who is on the graphic. 6 tackles, 2 picks, including an 83-yard interception return for a touchdown. He was everywhere. LA's won 3 of 5 down the stretch. The Lycans taking some good momentum into next season.
Yeah, Lycans finishing strong, and credit to Los Angeles for their secondary. They stepped up. They've been exceptional all season long despite their record. And when you're going up against the #1 passing team in the league, they just had Indianapolis's number, and from the start of the game were able to shut their passing game down.
Indy least points in franchise history. You can see Roosevelt and Banfield still had great days, but a lot of everything else was shut down. And Los Angeles plays spoiler. Indy now on the outside looking in as we head into the final game of Week 13. Over to Queen City, where the Corsairs had a 17-0 lead at the end of the first quarter. Jet Zero got hurt again. 3rd time this season and was done for the day. Lakeman, another second half. We talked about this last week, Paul, where he just folded up shop in the second half, just could not figure it out. And Canton storms back. 2nd most points scored in franchise history. Robert Johnson was great. Cam Curtis spread the ball around. And after Canton has struggled offensively all season long, it was nice to see them pick things up, pick up a victory with 1 week left.
Most definitely, and when you're up 17-0 after the first quarter, for Canton to go on a 34-3 run and be able to shut Queen City's offense down virtually for the whole second half, that's how Canton's going to win games. And as we saw this weekend, that's how they did it.
Queen City falls to 0-11. They play Motor City the last week of the season. They are 2-9. So literally, Paul, the two teams at the bottom of the standings will take on each other. Should be a good game, right? Queen
Absolutely.
City trying to avoid something that only a couple of teams have ever done, go winless in an SFL season. It's just been tough for them. Not only have they been playing behind the 8 ball with the talent defensively in rebuilding, but then one of their best offensive weapons has just not been healthy. It's been unfortunate.
Yeah, when you lose one of your star players in 3 separate games, I know it's just 3 games out of the season, but someone like Jet Zero and how impactful he can be on his team, just unfortunate for the Corsairs this season.
Back to the highlights. Let's go to Sin City, where Las Vegas needed an awakening in the first half because they had players falling over and not knowing what they're doing, all sorts of madness. Ivory Irvin, I don't know what that dance was, but somebody teach me because I don't know any moves. Irvin knows something more than me, for sure. 3rd and 11 on the next possession. Eric Price, who was play-actioning all night, was just getting dumped. And this time, dumped by Troy LaShaw, who gets the interception. You can't do that against Baltimore. Sets him up with great field position. Warren Murray does the rest.
That is exactly what Warren Murray does. Score touchdowns and put points on the board for the Baltimore Vultures, the 3-time defending champs.
14-0. Eric Price on 3rd and 12. Notice all the 3rd and longs that Vegas was facing in this game. 21-0 already in the second quarter. Nate Brown ate Eric Price for breakfast, lunch, and dinner in this one. Finally, Max Jackson and this defense able to get something moving. Pretty return. Irvin ends up making the tackle, but that was the first signs of life from this Vegas team off that interception. Baltimore brings the blitz, and it eventually gets there. Nate Brown again. I mean, they just sticking him behind the sticks over and over and over in this first half. And Vegas eventually got things going in the third. Paul with his touchdown to Scott Johnson, but it's just too late.
Yeah, most definitely. When you're going up against the 8-2 Baltimore Vultures, to only have 3 points up at this point, it is most definitely too late.
Oh, my goodness. Warren Murray, that was the sickest run of the week. I have amnesia watching it because I totally forgot that it happened. That was just filthy, and why not give it back to Warren Murray to finish off the drive? Just disgusting. Baltimore gets the win, so they improved to 9-2. That would put pressure on Atlanta to win, but they faced no pressure whatsoever. They destroy Tulsa on national television 48-10 to remain the league's top team. 10-1 on the season. They clinch the number 1 seed next week with a Baltimore loss or a win over Florida. Both of those games will be Friday night to kick off week 14 starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tulsa will take on Indianapolis. That will be our Sunday night game at 9 o'clock. Paul and I will be on the call for that one. And they have got to figure out how to get it together. Indy has to figure out how to get it together. And Paul, that should be a great game on Sunday. 2 desperate teams trying not to fall behind. Atlanta just took them to the woodshed.
Yeah, definitely going to be an interesting game next week against 2 of the best teams this season, kind of fallen down a little over the past few weeks, but definitely going to be interesting to see that one. As far as this matchup, Atlanta Swarm just going in and handling business, just being efficient. Bryant Dynasty, 25 of 32, 0 interceptions. BDG Hollywood hitting the century mark, 2 touchdowns. And hey, showing some love to Jamal Wooding, throw it to the tight end, 2 touchdowns for him as well. Just a truly exceptional game all around from the Swarm.
Atlanta pulled away in the second quarter, and they never looked back. Florida still alive in the playoffs. We'll get to all the many scenarios here in a moment, but first, back to the highlights where we go to those Florida Storm, how they stayed alive. Well, in the third quarter, they started to take charge. Philip Boletsky around the end makes it 20-14 Storm. Next possession for Trellis Blanton. Deep shot, got Zach Patton. Seattle continues to play better football, trying to channel the old Seattle Tyrants days when they knocked off the Alaska Storm from their dynasty, but too much Florida in the second half. That pass picked off would lead to a field goal after Bullet Boletsky does more running. Paul, Seattle close. No cigar, falls to 3-8.
Yeah, definitely one of the toughest teams to go up against in the Florida Storm. Sure, their record may not show it this season, but a truly class act of an organization in Florida, and they just had Seattle's number this night.
Seattle didn't stop fighting. 12 seconds left. Blanton hits David Gears for the touchdown, and then almost recovered the onside kick. It was not to be. Florida now 5-6. Just don't die, do they? Everyone out there in SFL Nation saying, please no Florida, please, we can't have a mighty resurgence in season 20. Carolina at Denver. Talk about a resurgence. The Skyhawks playing their best football they've played maybe ever. Heath McDaniel Jr. with the touchdown puts Carolina up 7-3. This was their first trip ever to Denver in over 200 franchise games. 3rd and goal from the 2 just before the half, and O'Shaughnessy is stuffed, so Denver would have to settle for a field goal. Ike McBride just murdering victims. Touchdown. Carolina goes up 14-6. Just straight nasty.
And we saw last week, Ike McBride is not afraid of putting her shoulder down, and did it there and put 6 points up for your team. Just a great run and from a great player.
Ron Hoff did everything you have to do when you're on fire. Stop, drop, and roll on that one. Handoff on 4th and short. Why not, right? I mean, stay aggressive. You're out of the playoffs, but late in the game, Denver seemed disinterested. On 4th and 10, they punted the football away. With 2.5 to go, down 8. They never got the ball back. Carolina won 17-9. A weird way to end it, but the Skyhawks keep things moving, and they are rewarded by getting to the number 12 spot in the standings. Harish Prasad with a $3 super chat right on cue. Carolina. Yes, they are currently in the 12th spot. Looking over their tiebreakers, they have tiebreakers on about 5 of the 8 teams that they could potentially be tied with. They are in the best shape, but it is far from over, Paul. So let's start at the top of the standings and break it all down. Atlanta is your top seed. Again, they get the number 1 seed with a win or a Baltimore loss. Baltimore is number 2. They are pretty safe for a first-round bye, but nothing secure, because Minnesota, Fort Worth, and Arizona, all division leaders, are all just 1 game behind. Minnesota and Fort Worth are your 3 and your 4. Despite Minnesota still not clinching the Central, they have clinched a playoff spot. Arizona's your 5 seed. 8-3, they will take on Vegas. That game will be Saturday afternoon at 6:45 p.m. Eastern in the bonus of the TV block. The TV block features Houston and Alamo City. Arizona currently the 5, Vegas the 10 in the standings. Vegas is falling. They need a victory because that SOV is not doing them any favors, nor will it do them any favors if they are in a 7-5 logjam. Mexico City has the edge in common games over the Fury. They are 9th. Tulsa hanging on to 8th and hanging on to a first-round playoff game. Tulsa Mex would be your 8-9 matchup if the playoffs started today. San Diego, will see them on Impact Monday. They are in the 11th spot now, 6-4. Their SOV is problematic. They need all the wins that they can get. Right now, Indy is your first team on the outside looking in, followed by Houston, Louisiana, Alamo City. Off the graphic, you've got DC at 5-5, Florida 5-6, Sioux Falls 5-6. They are all hanging on by a thread. Paul, if San Diego wins, all that goes away. DC, Florida, and Sioux Falls are out, and we whittle our playoff positioning down to 16.
Yeah, it's getting tight, Cam. A lot of teams, a little bit of a shift up. We finally see Carolina working their way into the playoff race after a extremely awesome season all around from them. They've had some big wins to put them in the position that they're in right now, and they are showing no signs of stopping anytime soon. And Indianapolis kind of last 2 weeks couldn't get it done, and next week's the game I've been saying for weeks now, Houston and Alamo City. That's going to be a great one. But hey, if San Diego can kind of make that gap a little bigger here next week, who knows how this season's gone and how it's going to finish. It's going to be great.
Other games that are relevant to the playoffs next week, Louisiana and San Diego play Saturday night. Louisiana takes on Jacksonville and San Diego plays Denver. 2 teams that are eliminated. Both those teams are at home, San Diego and Louisiana, as they try and take care of business. And then, of course, your Season 20 scenario show comes your way Saturday, April 15th at 11:30 p.m. Eastern. We will be up late, get some coffee, as we break down the remaining 16 scenarios. Houston, Alamo City, Saturday afternoon. Did I miss anybody? Mexico City and Fort Worth will be the last game of the season. The Aztecs trying to ensure that they make the playoffs for a 14th straight season. Fort Worth trying to secure a first-round bye. All sorts of stuff. It's going to chaos is going to reign on Monday night, next Monday. So that's a look at the standings, and that was your look at this week in the SFL. For Paul Sarp, I'm Cameron Irvine. Thanks for joining us. For our YouTube audience, DC and San Diego comes your way next. We'll have a preview of that coming up. And for our Next Level Sports audience, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on Saturday for Alamo City and Houston for the right to stay alive in the playoff hunts. Thanks for watching. Welcome to Impact Monday. Along with Paul Sarp, I'm Cameron Irvine. Tonight, San Diego and DC meet for the first time, and it couldn't mean more. The Dragons 5-5, the Mavericks 6-4. We're here to break it all down. What's going on, Paul? The people at the dungeon are hyped up and trying to get the DC Dragons a late playoff push with Baltimore looming next week.
Yeah, after a tough season from DC, they are still in it, fighting for a playoff spot, and as well as San Diego fighting for a playoff spot. Both of these teams are going to be playing desperate football tonight. Both teams need a win to stay alive. San Diego's trying to end DC's hopes and dreams, but DC just has no fight to give up and just refuses to give up as they try to fight their way into the playoffs.
San Diego with a win, they eliminate the DC Dragons, the Sioux Falls Sparrows, the Florida Storm. If DC wins, it'll be, let's see if I get this right, San Diego, Indy, Carolina, Louisiana, Houston, Alamo City, and DC, all 6-5 heading into the final week of the season, plus Sioux Falls and Florida 5-6 in the event that you get some giant cluster at the bottom. Now, it's worth noting that any 6-win team, anyone that's 6-5, if they win outside of the Houston Alamo City winner, if any of the others win, Florida and Sioux Falls has no chance. They literally need every single thing possible to go right to have a shot at SOV Mayhem, Paul. So while still a slim chance, things could get extremely chaotic very quickly. And as we break that all down, let's also look at our Impact Monday headlines tonight. This is unknown territory in our first meeting. San Diego, not just a passing game anymore. Their defense has really stepped up and improved after they were really sluggish last season. And then, are we going to see an efficient DC Dragon team that lacks explosivity or vice versa? We know that Mike Churchill is explosive, Paul, but they've just hasn't been the same for them. And you could say the same thing about San Diego's offense this season as well. Yeah,
a couple milestones coming up for some players in this game. We'll touch base on those later. But is the proficiency and efficiency of DC, Shabazz Synergy, one of the best in the league at it. 75.4% completion rate on the season, which is second in the best. Only needs 275 yards for 3,000 on the season. Just having a great season. And for San Diego, they just have to show a little bit of signs of explosivity and then be efficient as well to top it off.
It's going to be a great game. This is the importance of the flex, Paul, because I don't think that while Canton and Queen City was a pretty good ball game, I think our audience would have been going, I don't really understand. This is why the flex matters. DC and San Diego in prime time. The Mavericks next week, they have Denver, which is a winnable football game. They very easily could win out, but their SOV is problematic. They just don't have the resume that other teams have had in terms of their wins this season, and DC would give them a feather in their cap that they so desperately need, especially on the road. Be a very good quality win for the Mavericks.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game. Both of these teams are incredible teams. The importance of this game for both of these franchises couldn't be any higher. And hey, I'm ready to get the kickoff.
Mike O'Neill as our countdown. He's back, baby, for the preview of tonight's game from his perspective.
Cam and Paul, appreciate you guys as always and the work that you guys do. It's been a pleasure being on here this season with you guys. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike O'Neill, back from a vacation last week, apparently. We've got a big matchup tonight. 6-4 San Diego Mavericks taking on the 5-5 DC Dragons. And let's talk about what these teams have to do to win. In order to do that, we need to first look at what these teams do well. They're completely opposite. San Diego, more of an air raid style offense, and DC more of a ground and pound type of team. And it even says so in the numbers. I mean, if we're looking at the stats this season, B.E. Robo for San Diego, 17 yards away from 1,000 yards receiving. Kevin Say for DC is 31 yards away from rushing 1,000 yards. It's pretty awesome. Both of these teams do a great job at getting their best players involved, and that's what it's going to take tonight. But how they get there is going to be very, very important tonight. It's going to be all about balance in the play calling tonight. So if we look at these two teams, let's talk about for San Diego. What is it going to take for San Diego to win this game? They've got to get B.E. Robo involved. He's been the best player for them all season. They've got to continue to get him the ball. And how they do that is by utilizing Pseudo Nakai just enough. They have to do just enough with Pseudo Nakai to where DC can start to play up and respect the run a little bit more. I mean, all I'm talking about, maybe 1 to 2 big runs, 15-plus yard runs by Pseudo Nakai. Suddenly, DC's defense is playing up a little bit more in the box. They've got to get those defenders in the box to open up the passing lanes for the San Diego offense. And defensively, San Diego's been a team that have been really good at taking the ball away. They've got 26 takeaways on the season, and they've got to continue to do that. San Diego needs at least 2 turnovers. They're going to need at least 2 extra possessions tonight if they're going to win this, because DC loves to play the time of possession game. And speaking of DC, we're going to go over to their side. What does DC need to do tonight to get a win? Well, Kevin Say is clearly the main focus. He's always been the main focus in DC. So San Diego, coming into this game, Kevin Say is the one highlighted at the top of the whiteboard. And that's going to be their main focus, is shutting down the run game. And DC's got to use that to their advantage. They've got to come out tonight. If I'm DC, getting Shabazz in a rhythm through the air, slinging the rock around, and forcing San Diego to kind of step back and play back a little bit more. Catch them on 1 or 2 go-ahead touchdowns to Churchill. And, suddenly San Diego's respecting that passing game a lot more. And then DC can kind of work their way into their game plan of getting Kevin Say the ball and letting him be the workhorse of this offense. So it's really going to come down to those keys. It's going to be a good game regardless. All cards are in on the table in this matchup, and good luck to both teams, and we'll see you guys out on the field. Thanks.
Paul, give me your best. Let's go.
Let's go, Cam. Let's go.
It did not disappoint. Happy birthday, Mike O'Neill. Kickoff is next, San Diego and DC.
Two receivers, Cooley top of the screen against Kenneth Lyons. Red Feather to throw. Red Feather going to the end zone. It is a touchdown. Cooley, the Bulldogs have the lead.
2 to the left, 1 to the right. In the backfield is Streeter with 1 more. Hand off Streeter, going to try to find the hole. He does. He's going to try to break another tackle. He does. Out to the 20. He's going to go for the pylon, and he's going to get in to the house. Reggie Streeter with his 4th touchdown scamper of the day gives Louisiana their first lead of the day.
You might want to look at Reggie Streeter with his 4th touchdown, but watch the block here. It looked like number 59 for the Vancouver Legion here was going to have the angle on him.
On the previous play, they represent the city of Broad Shoulders.
The player with railroads.
And the throw by Dunhill is complete to Jamal Wooding, and he scores the touchdown on the very next play. Touchdown, Atlanta.
Wow, Atlanta derails the Chicago defense on their play. He gets behind him.
It's just everybody let him go, and Maurice Burton was the only one back.
2 backs and 3 receivers as Marconi drops to throw, and no pressure on Marconi at all. The pass is picked off, and the defender or the receiver fell over. That's Koyama Shigeki, and he scores. Touchdown Legends on a pick 6 from Marconi. And the receiver fell over as he breaks for the football. Actually, Cooley thought he had a catch and was just trying to get his feet in bounds, and the Legends.
Second down and 6. Titan is down 4. Cantrell empty backfield, and Cantrell off his back foot. Touchdown! What a throw from Cody Cantrell to DR Sim. That was masterful.
I thought that for sure was going to be knocked away or picked off. Anytime you see any SFL quarterback scrambling out of the pocket, it's usually not a good sign, but D.R. Sims gets so wide open here that he has such a huge target there for
Step drop from Pickler over the middle. Another interception. Going.
Good
Had
battle.
a big game last week, and he's off to the races. No one can catch him. Baltimore are cruising here in the first half. Touchdown, Vultures.
And we just talked about it. Johnny could not afford the mistakes. That's his second interception thrown here in his first half. Alvin Mack, I've said it time and time again. Every time I call their games, he gets sideline to sideline as well as any linebacker in this league. He takes advantage of a bad situation and turns it to 6.
They'll start off with no Jared McChesney, and Josh Miller will throw. Looking top of the screen, it's picked off right into the hands of Iverson Gamble. A great start for Arizona. Gamble chasing down to the sideline, and Jeremy Mosley prevents a touchdown. What a play for Iverson Gamble, the 7th-year corner, and what a start for the Scorpions.
Second down and 10, 3 receivers. Now they go to Parker on a stretch. Haven't seen that much of the night. Breaks the tackle, and then another, and he's down at the 1. He looked into me, honestly. Let's see the replay again. Parker breaks 2 tackles. Orlando's just throwing a little bit of everything at him tonight, and he's off.
3 receiver set. William Dula in the gun. William Dula to throw, firing deep over the middle. Has a man, Jalen Miller, past the defenders, 5, touchdown, Carolina. Jeff Duffy in the chat just now saying Carolina is never out of it. Don't count them out yet. Well, there you go.
Bombs away, boys. Here it comes. Down the seam, just running to go, and no one's going to catch Jalen Miller. He's the biggest receiving threat.
And Legacy both off to the right side. And Garcia will pass. Garcia's in trouble, avoids a sack, fires deep down the field. The pass is caught! What a catch in traffic! It's a touchdown! Daniel Garcia makes an incredible play, launches it down the field to Clint Myers. And Clint Myers a little upset that Studwell's getting all the love over the outstretched arms of A.J. Levy, and Myers gets the...
I was muted on the intro, so I'll get to do it a second time. It was so good. DC will receive the football tonight, and we will get things moving. Just outside the Lincoln Memorial. Just outside the Lincoln Memorial here tonight. What memories will be made in this one between DC and San Diego? Let's get it going. Ron Haynes and Zach Holdorf along with Paul Sarp. We're ready for action. I didn't. It was definitely not as good for those of you that didn't get to hear the first time. Whatever, I tried, botched both of them. Kick it! We're underway. On the return, this is Ronnie Shanahan out of the 27-yard line. And it'll be Shabazz Synergy out on the field first. First and 10 at the DC 27-yard line. The Dragons are in all gray with the white numbers, and the handoff goes to Kevin Say. San Diego in the yellow helmets and jerseys with the military green pants and numbers. White and black trim, no gain for Say. 2nd and 10. Second and 10 at the 27-yard line, and now we finally maybe have everyone. You know, you work 10 hours on one game to get it going, and then at the end you can't hit the right buttons, and you just want to crawl in a hole, Paul. 3rd and 7, maybe on the second drive we can all get it together.
Hey, it's only a matter of time, but we all got it now, ready to go, ready for some SFL action.
3rd and 7 at the 30. Synergy's pass is caught. First down to Josh Gill at the 44. At least someone showed up to play tonight. First down, DC.
Great job there to move the chains to get your first down of the game. And you just got to play the football you know how to. Slow and steady, efficient football is how DC gets it done.
So 9.5 to go. Shabazz Synergy is your quarterback for the DC Dragons. We'll get to lineups here in a minute. Synergy against a 4-man rush. Throws it up in the air. That pass is tipped and incomplete. We'll set up a second down. Holdorf in the area. Also in our stat truck. If you missed it any of the 4 times I've already said it incorrectly. DC's offense, Shabazz Synergy, Kevin Say, Chuck Steller. May see a little bit of him tonight in some heavy sets. Jay Ballmer at fullback. Receivers are Ronnie Shanahan, Mike Churchill, Josh Gill. Tight end is Lauren Percoco. Kevin Say, a 3-time All-Star. Last made it last season. Second down and 10 off the incompletion from Synergy. 3-2 defensive look. And San Diego drops back everybody but cannot find Ronnie Shanahan, who slips inside the zone to the San Diego 44. Another Dragon first down.
Just the DC Dragons showing like they are off to a methodical drive here, and just as I mentioned it, not sure if I was muted or not, just slow and steady. You got to play the efficient game that you know how to play. And they sure are doing it here on this first drive.
That was funny. Synergy, 1st and 10 at the San Diego 44, fires it outside for a 2-yard gain to Shanahan again. So Shanahan pretty involved so far tonight. Let's meet the San Diego defense up front. Biff Markham, Eric Hammer, Rylan Caudell, and Bobo Caudell. The linebackers, Freddie Trammell, Leon Thunderman, and Jeff Gagne. Corners, Tanner Hendricks, Pink Lisa, Tom Krieg, Stuart Zomilia, and your safeties, Zach Holdorf and Nate Hall. 2nd and 8 at the 42. Slight play fake there from Shabazz. He's got another first down to the Maverick 33-yard line. This one hauled in by Chuck Steller to move the chains for first down.
Great play from Chuck Steller there. And
Jay Ballmer,
Jay Ballmer there. Great play from Jay Ballmer, and is mentioning back to the San Diego defense, one of their leaders, Freddie Trammell, having a great season so far, so expect to hear his name called a lot tonight.
3-minute plus drive for the DC Dragons. Kevin Say has not had a lot of running room. They've been much more successful in the pass game. That tackle made by Bobo in the backfield. DC's a 4.5-point favorite, according to Jack Stata, despite being a game back of San Diego in the standings. 54.5 is your over-under, as we mentioned on pregame, unless we were muted. First meeting ever between the Dragons and the Mavericks. Handoff this time inside to Say, pushes ahead for 2 yards. Freddie Trammell on the stop, and our first 3rd down of the evening.
San Diego really doing a great job early at limiting Kevin Say, and I said it on the first drive. I'll say it again. He needs 31 more yards for 1,000, Cam, averaging 5.7 yards per carry, 4th in the league with 10 touchdowns to add with it.
It's a quiet fourth in the league. He really has had a good
Absolutely.
season. It just hasn't been mentioned much as Synergy goes down outside of field goal range. Rylan Caudell with the sack. And after all that positive momentum over a 4-minute drive, DC's going to get nothing.
Yeah, and that's just credit to the San Diego defensive front getting after Synergy there. And to be able to take them out of field goal range after they were rolling down the field like it was a stroll in the park. Just a great job from the defense to step up there on third down and to get the ball back for your team.
8 plays on that, or 9 plays on that drive for DC. You don't often see that result in nothing, especially with decent field position. This punt is going to die 3 yards into the end zone. So Scar Patterson will come out to the 20. And Patterson doesn't have the numbers he had last season, Paul, but I'm sure he's liking more wins a lot better.
Absolutely. And as far as the stats, maybe not there necessarily on completion percentage and yards, but lighting it up through the air, 25 touchdowns, 5th in the league.
Still a force. Line shifts for the Dragons. Left to right. Linebackers showing outside blitz. They are going to bring it to Pseudo Nakai. Nakai cuts it back left. He almost got away. Wrapped up by Kano Fortson, who's been excellent on games that we've had the pleasure to call the Dragons. 2nd and 8.
Yeah, that was an interesting run from Pseudo Nakai. And if Pseudo broke that last tackle, he would have went completely horizontal and then completely vertical up the sidelines for a touchdown.
Hand off to Nakai, pickup of 2 to set up a 3rd down and 6. It's funny, I was telling Ron Haynes in the stat truck before the game, dude, I got 4 monitors, I got this, don't worry, don't need any help. And then I start the broadcast and everybody's muted and nothing makes any sense. And you know, it's a good humbling tool, Paul. It's always good to stay humble.
Most definitely, and both of these teams trying to show that they may not be humble, trying to make a big play here in the first quarter.
3rd and 6. Patterson trying to keep the drive alive. Flips it out to Nakai. Race with the sticks. Nakai not going to get there. Comes up short. Wrapped up on the play by Daryl Bullock and Declan O'Rourke. San Diego will have to punt.
That was a heck of a job for the defense to just swarm Pseudo Nakai there and not allow him to get the first down. And great job from the Dragons defense after not coming up with any points last drive to force a 3 and out and get the ball right back for your team.
Fair catch from Shanahan to the 36-yard line, so DC at least early winning the field position battle. That punt from San Diego from Wade Ramsey, the undrafted rookie. 1st down.
And if I'm BC here, I definitely want to try to get Kevin Say involved. The Mavericks had his number on the first drive, couldn't get anything going on a couple rushing attempts, but you got to get the running game going to then open up the passing game.
Synergy going to throw. He'll try to get Say going in that passing game, and Say will collect just a couple of yards. So Say 5 touches, 7 yards for the longest play of 3 here in the first quarter.
And that's just the slow and steady, methodical approach that DC has shown this season. They're just one of the most efficient teams in the league, and after having such a hard schedule this season, their record might not show how good they truly are.
Hand off to Kevin Say, picks up a couple, so that'll set up another 3rd and 6 for DC. Aerial coverage of today's game provided by Dags Drone Works, aerial photography and videography services for real estate, events, marketing, and more. The more maybe being weddings. Learn more at dagsdroneworks.com. Did my wedding. That was sweet. 3rd and 6 at the 40. Synergy out of the shotgun. Slants, pass, caught. 1st down. Lauren Percoco's first catch. The San Diego 45-yard line. Honestly, for me, for my money, top 3 tight end in this league.
Oh, most definitely. And having a great season. 36 receptions, 358 yards, and 5 touchdowns heading into the night. 2nd amongst tight ends in season 20. You know who's first, Cam? Benji Matson on the other side with 7. So a little battle of the tight ends here tonight.
Beautiful. And Benji was excited to hit the graphic tonight as well. Saw that in pregame. As Synergy hit as he threw, but the pass caught by Mike Churchill. First grab of the night. Shabazz Synergy slinging the rock, 6 for 7. And now 6 different players have caught a pass for DC. Crazy.
And that's just a great job from Shabazz Synergy to stay in the pocket and throw a bullet to Mike Churchill, who's averaging 18.9 yards per catch, which is 3rd in the league this season.
1st and 10 at the 30. Only one he hasn't hit on a pass is Chuck Steller. Kevin Say breaks off a tackle and gets 4. Looks like it's going to be one of those in between or in the trenches games tonight, Paul, with Suda Nakai and Kevin Say. They're both really having to hustle for every yard.
Most definitely, and I know both of these running backs are exceptional players, and they're just trying to get it done on the ground, it looks like, so far tonight.
Jeff Gagne already up to 3 tackles. San Diego's only had the ball 3 plays on offense in this first quarter. This handoff goes to Chuck Steller, his first carry. So you've got 8 players of note on this offense for DC, and every single one of them has touched the ball in the first 9 minutes.
And just in 2 drives, that's some teams can't accomplish that in 4 quarters. So to get everyone involved early in this first quarter is a great job from DC and exactly what they need against the Mavericks team.
Handoff, Say, got it. First down to the 20. 3 yards in a cloud of dust for the Dragons early on.
Kevin Say getting a huge first down. I'm sure DC would take the 3 points, but when you have a running back like Kevin Say that can get you first downs like that and extend drives, it gives you more chances to put more points up.
This is a playoff atmosphere here in DC. You can feel it the way they're playing so far. Synergy's pass caught by Josh Gill. A 7-yard gain to the San Diego 13-yard line. 2nd and 3. Synergy now 8 for 9.
Great job from Josh Gill, who, as far as receivers, leads the team in coming into tonight with only 41 receptions. The leading reception getter on DC is Kevin Say with 70, so there's a big gap there as far as how many times these receivers are getting the ball.
Second half of the Dragons staying ahead of the sticks. Handoff to Say, who is losing his mind out there at about the 8-yard line. Didn't know which way was up, left, right, or straight. 1st and goal at the 8. More moves of the chains for the DC Dragons.
And I'll tell you what, I know after that play, Kevin Say's got to be a little dizzy. I was a little bit dizzy watching him make all those spin moves, and he was trying to go left, trying to go right, came back a little, trying to go forward, though, here on this play on 1st and goal.
Synergy to throw. Synergy checks it down to Percoco, breaks a tackle. Percoco put down at the 5. 21-4 are the play counts with 30 seconds to go in the first.
Yeah, first quarter just completely dominated by DC with San Diego's lone drive coming on a 3rd and out, and DC just really controlling this game so far through 1 quarter of action.
We've had just 1 stoppage of play in the first quarter. 2nd and goal at the 5. They run the spot. Gill dives, touchdown. Dragons on top.
Josh Gill, we heard him earlier on this drive making a first down catch, getting into the end zone with that one for his 3rd on the season, and really making an impact early for the Dragons and helps his team take an early lead in the first quarter.
$5 super chat from Jeff Bamfield. SFL is my favorite place to be. Thanks, Jeff. That is super kind. And I have heard that super chats can help the disease of the mute button. I heard that from somewhere. At least I'm willing that into existence. What a pretty drive from the DC Dragons. We'll get the updated numbers here shortly. 8 seconds to go in the first quarter. 7-0 DC leads San Diego. 11 plays, 64-yard drive, 5 runs, 6 passes, no incompletions, 4 minutes and 45 seconds. If you're a ball control style offense, which DC with their efficiency, it really has thrived on this season, that is just perfect.
an absolutely flawless drive there from DC. I couldn't see, I don't think I've ever seen a more efficient drive this season in the SFL than that one right there.
I couldn't agree with you more. Dave Axis on the return up to the 22-yard line. 3 seconds left for Scar Patterson to get revved up. 1 for 1 for 5 yards. No receiver even has a target in the first quarter, and they're saying, hey, didn't the game start 30 minutes ago?
And as we see, they're down 7-0 here. They've only had the ball 4 plays, so DC scored more points than the offense has actually ran plays.
Good point. 3-2 defense for the Dragons. Patterson going to throw it down the field. Caught by Robo, who was one of Mike O'Neill's keys. He picks up 6 yards. Check that. That's Lili Nakai picking up 6 yards on that play. And that is the end of the first quarter here on Impact Monday. San Diego down early, but it is still early, relatively, in this one. 7-0, DC up on San Diego here in Week 13. If you're new to the SFL, the Simulation Football League combines traditional sports, esports, and a role-playing game into one. Team strategies are being executed in real time by our simulations as real-life players compete on the virtual gridiron. For more information about the SFL, visit our website at simulationfl.net. The SFL, it's football for everyone, as Patterson will dump that off, going backwards and then pushed forwards. That's Robo for a pickup of 1, 3rd and 3.
B. Robo having an exceptional season, one of Scar Patterson's favorite targets. 9th in the league with 983 receiving yards. 7th in the league with 9 touchdowns, and 9th in the league with 105 targets so far through 12 weeks of action.
2 in the backfield, 3rd and 3. Patterson going to throw. Patterson pump fake, now down the middle, caught. Oh, incomplete, knocked out of Benji Matson's hands. Heck of a play by Bullock, who saved the first down on San Diego's last possession, and we still haven't been able to get to the lineups on this side of the roster sheet, as San Diego will have to punt it away.
Great hit there and a great play from Daryl Bullock, stepping up again for a second time in this game. Saved the first down last drive, saved the first down this drive, really making a difference for this Dragons team.
From the 35, Shanahan on the return. Oh, Jeff Banfield was looking for love you too. Well, of course we love you, Jeff. I didn't realize that it was a quiz. Man, a challenging evening for us tonight in the booth. Man, I feel bad now. I failed to meet expectations for only the first time tonight. First and 10 at the DC 20. 10:20 to go in the first half. Hand off to Kevin Say, and Say breaks off a tackle. Ooh. Gets a vicious block. Oh, Kevin Say. That was pretty. Oh, man, we got to get another look at that block. That was spectacular.
Heck of a run from Kevin Say. Wow. Juking defenders, making them miss, throwing them off of them, spin cycle. He did it all on that play.
I think that was Joseph Ephraim, the guard, who went low, just laid a phenomenal block there on that right side to spring Kevin Say to the San Diego 47-yard line. Say will now cut it inside and pick up 5, wrapped up by Gagne, who's everywhere so far in this one. 2nd down.
Gagne just, as you mentioned, just really just making the difference and stepping up to be the leader for this Mavericks defense. He's absolutely everywhere, all over the field.
9:18 to go in the first half, and pushing forward, which has been the theme tonight for Kevin Say. Will manage to pick up a few to the San Diego 39 and bring up 3rd and short.
Shabazz Synergy just leading his team with the help of Kevin Say, just slow and steady. It's the name of the game for this DC Dragons football team. We've seen it all season long, and they're showing exactly why here tonight against San Diego.
Hand off to Say. Say is dropped in the backfield on 3rd down. And fun fact, San Diego's had 6 offensive plays, and Jeff Gagne has 6 solo tackles. San Diego gets off the field again at the 39 unless DC ends up snapping it.
That was a great tackle on that last play from Leon Thunderman to force the 4th down. Interested to see if DC is going to go for it or maybe burn one of their timeouts for in this first half.
San Diego's defense would be wise not to jump. They got to be gassed at this point in this first half. They've been on the field basically the entire game. DC playing hardball, and they will burn a timeout and punt it away. So twice the Dragons have entered San Diego territory but have had to punt and not get any points out of it, as Potty on the sideline saying, hey, what about me? Come on.
And that going back to that 3rd down play, Leon Thunderman just shooting the gap and going after Kevin Say on that 3rd down. And credit to him, as he's going to help get San Diego the ball back after the defense didn't jump on that 4th down.
Instead, it's a punt from Don Wilson. 8:09 to go in the first half. DC has a 7-0 advantage. This punt, a better one from Wilson, and that will be tapped down at the 4-yard line. So San Diego, looking for their first move of the chains of the night, will be put back deep in their own territory. Let's get to the starters before we switch sides again. Scar Patterson, Pseudo Nakai, Mateo Privado is your backfield look for the Mavericks tonight. Wide receivers, Eagle Mondavi, Dave Axis, B. Robo, and Lili Nakai. Tight end, as mentioned early in the broadcast from Paul, Benji Matson leads the league in touchdown receptions, and Adam Williams also on the squad. They were 40 and 86, respectively. 1st and 10 at the San Diego 4. Handoff to Pseudo Nakai, and Nakai is quickly shoved down by the incoming missile, Riley Hughes. The DC defense includes Jose Fuentes, John Gary, Kano Fortson, and Jason Bourne on the line. Linebackers, Declan O'Rourke, Riley Hughes, Saeed Gore. Corners, Fugu Gaipan, Peanut Say, Daryl Bullock. Safeties, John DeSantis, Josh Vasquez, and John Patrick Levine. 7.5 to go, 2nd and 9. Handoff Nakai once more, and Nakai pushing forward, 5-yard gain to the 10. Wrapped up at the end of the play by DeSantis and Vasquez shooting the gap. Huge 3rd down here for San Diego. They got to get something moving.
It's a really, really, really big 3rd down here for San Diego, as DC has just dominated on offense and defense on 3rd down so far at this point in the game. And San Diego's got to win 3rd downs if they want to try to add a win to the win column tonight.
Patterson, deep drop back, standing at his 3, going long. The pass is caught down the sideline. Robo, and he's not out of bounds. B. Robo to the end zone, touchdown! No 1st down, no problem for San Diego, and we're an extra point away from tying it up.
And if you're a team like San Diego who hasn't converted a 1st down yet in the first half, to be able to take a shot like that to your number 1 receiver and to come out with a touchdown as a result, that is a huge play and huge pass from Scar Patterson to find B. Robo. That's going to take B. Robo over 1,000 yards on the season so far.
Man, what a dime to Robo down the sideline. I mean, just the most perfect pass you could expect. One smidgen of error there from Patterson, and Robo's going out of bounds, and the drive has to continue. That was just a sensational throw.
At the snap of a finger, too, to tie this game up just like that. When you started the drive on your own 4-yard line, to be able to throw it up to B. Robo, and he takes it to the house. Just a great, great play from San Diego to tie this ball game up.
And DC, after all that, says, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, they've been dominant all game other than that last 3rd down there, Cam.
From the 5, Shanahan makes 2 men miss. Gets it out to the 26-yard line with 6:47 to go in the first half. Let's try to reset our crew, huh? Alongside Paul Sarp, I'm Cameron Irvine, Zach Holdorf, Ron Haynes on stats, Tyler Falk, Chris Curtis back in studios for half and post game. Hopefully they will not follow in my footsteps from earlier. Tyler's keeping an eye on it. Ball the 26, heavy look here for the Dragons as they try to pick their jaws up off the grass from that beautiful throw from Scar as Say picks up 1 yard.
That throw from Scar Patterson, that's his 26th on the season. B. Robo's 10th receiving touchdown on the season, and it came at an absolute perfect time for San Diego to tie the game back up. If you're DC, you just got to stick to what you know. Just drive the ball down the field, slow drives, take time off the clock, and put some points up.
Out of the shotgun, Synergy. He's slinging the rock, and it's picked off at the 49-yard line, coming back the other way. Tanner Hendricks is going to be shoved down at the DC 30. And wow, San Diego has come out with a force in the second quarter.
After a very slow first quarter for San Diego, for Tanner Hendricks to get the ball back with an incredible interception, you got to watch out for him. He's already scored twice this season after interceptions. That interception is going to give him number 7, but credit to DC to be able to get after Hendricks there and bring him down with a chance to send your defense out and either get a turnover, get the ball back for your offense, or try to stop them and hold them to the least amount of points that they can.
First and 10 at the 30 for Patterson. Patterson will dump it short. That's caught by Nakai for a 3-yard gain. Back to that play. That's the Churchill special. He leads the league in yards per reception for any receiver not on Queen City, ironically enough, and that's his game. And San Diego just won the first battle.
Most definitely.
3-yard pickup halfway through the second quarter in a fast-moving Impact Monday game as the sun has set here in Washington, D.C. and across the country as Benji Matson picks up a handful to the 21-yard line of the Dragons.
That was a great job from Matson. Looks like he was met by the defender about 4 yards short of the first, so to be able to fight for those 3 extra yards was definitely, it could be critical here on 3rd and short to help extend this drive for the Mavericks.
3rd and 1, handoff up the middle to the fullback, Mateo Privado. That's when you want to see it. And under 5 to go, San Diego is back in the red zone.
Mateo Privado with his 56th carry on the season, one of the more utilized fullbacks in the league, and he's really helped this San Diego Mavericks team out on the run game as well as Pseudo Nakai, as they haven't necessarily had a rush game in the history of their franchise.
It's wild, but San Diego now has more total yards of offense than DC. How did that happen? Patterson hands it off to Pseudo Nakai. Nakai down inside the 5. 8-yard gain for Pseudo. The Mavericks 5 yards away from taking the lead.
Just a wild start in first half as DC just was, all momentum was going DC's way, and then just at the drop of a dime, San Diego has just taken over in the second quarter.
Hand off Nakai, and Nakai will be pushed forward by Hughes down to the 2-yard line. 1st and goal, San Diego beating DC at their own game.
Absolutely, and the DC Dragons defense is trying their best to bend and not break, and after a stifling first quarter, holding the Mavericks to 0 points, just gotta stop this Mavericks offense if you're the Dragons here.
This is the longest drive of the game for San Diego. 6th play, 3:40 to go in the first half. Patterson dumps it off, intercepted, picked off. I just threw it too late to the far side of the field. That's a no-no for a quarterback. And Peanut Say takes it back the other way. Nakai saves a touchdown.
Peanut say it ain't so for his team getting the ball back after the Mavericks were rolling down the field with his 3rd interception on the season. Great play there and a great way to bend and not break there.
Dragons defense comes up big. 7-7, 3.5 to go. Handoff, middle, Say breaking off a tackle, picking up 6. It's the kind of night where you look at the way Kevin Say's running right now, Paul, and you think, boy, he's probably going to break one of these at some point.
We've seen it time and time again, and he's absolutely running with a purpose tonight, trying his best to help his team's playoffs chances get even better with a win against a tough Mavericks team.
Again, DC going with a jumbo set, and look at San Diego crash the box. Chuck Stellar with his second carry. They were all over that. Trammell with the stop, his third.
Freddie Trammell, first in the league in passes deflected with 15, and leads his team in tackles as well with 81 headed into the night.
2:40 left. As Shabazz flips it out to Say. Short. San Diego, another stop.
And just the blocking, the tackle wasn't able to get there to block the defender, and we see DC with another 4th down, giving the ball right back to San Diego, who's really came alive in the second quarter.
This San Diego defense has been terrific, and interestingly enough, they're really doing it with superb tackling tonight. But so far this season, it's been that secondary that's been a menace for teams. Number 1 in the league in passes defended, and so far so good for the Mavericks. They have stood the test of time here in the first half. Tie game at 7. You're watching Impact Monday on the SFL's YouTube network. 7-7. DC jumps offside. It's been a penalty-free game up to this point. San Diego will accept. Resetting the situation right now for these two squads. San Diego, with a win, eliminates DC, Sioux Falls, and Florida. So this is a de facto playoff game for the Dragons, who will also be in playoff mode next week against their nemesis, Baltimore. If DC wins, they create a gigantic mess at the bottom of the wild card standings and basically leave everything up for grabs in the final week of the season.
Yeah, a lot of implications for the playoffs here, and a lot of teams watching, waiting to see the results of this game as it possibly determines their fate in the playoffs as well.
1:58 to go in the first half. 7-7. Panned off to Nakai, and the D-line won that battle. John Gary with his second tackle this evening will set up a 2nd and 5, and both teams now playing chess with the clock.
That was a great play there from defensive end John Gary, who leads the defensive line in tackles with 31 coming into the night. Also has 2.5 sacks on the season as well.
Pseudo Nakai picks up 2, 3rd and 3. Clock continues to milk. 1:22 left.
San Diego, starting this drive, was in a perfect position to maybe drive the ball down the field, head into halftime with a lead. But this 3rd down is going to be huge, as there's still time on the clock if DC can get a stop to get the ball back and score.
1:02 left. 3rd and 3. Patterson outside to Robo. Caught for a first down at the 48-yard line. Our 1-2 punch sitting by at halftime. Coming up with the APM Music halftime report, Tyler Falk, a.k.a. Got Milk, and Chris Curtis, a.k.a. Moo, have analysis for San Diego and DC. Tyler and Chris play if the playoffs started today, and they'll look ahead to Week 14. All that and more coming up on the APM Music halftime report. Patterson, deep drop, going long, it is caught.
Got it.
And down the sideline, another touchdown for Eagle Mondavi. Flying into the end zone, and San Diego takes the lead. Another bomb from Scar Patterson.
Fly, Eagle, fly. In this air raid offense, the Mavericks are living up to the hype with another huge play there on a drive that they looked like they were struggling in, but just at the drop of a dime to throw a dime from Scar Patterson was an incredible pass. Eagle Mondavi there for his 3rd touchdown on the season, and San Diego Mavericks with a 13-7 lead.
Patterson in this first half, now 8 of 10, 162 yards, and if you take the interception off the board, which was essentially just a late throw to Nakai. Right idea, just poor timing. Patterson has been outstanding, and San Diego will likely take a 14-7 lead into the locker room. Still 48 seconds left, though, for the Dragons.
Yeah, in 48 seconds, I know DC's a little bit of a slow-paced offense, but after dominating and controlling the ball the entire first quarter, to find yourselves down 7 going into halftime, they got to make something happen here on this drive to put them in a better position going into the second half.
From the 5, Shanahan on the return up to the 30. We'll see if DC tries to get aggressive with this or they'll just take things into the locker room. Frustrating half for the Dragons. They had this early on, and San Diego has played essentially a perfect second quarter outside of the one pick that didn't cost him anything. Kevin Say on the carry, picks up 6. They're going to go no huddle. And I guess the strategy, Paul, is give Kevin Say as many carries you possibly can. Cracks at the end zone, but he's going to lose a yard. They're going again. Gagne with another tackle.
And if they don't get this first down, San Diego might find themselves with the ball again.
Synergy going to throw it out to Say, and Say loses a yard. San Diego going to let it go and says, hey, we'll take that into the locker room.
Absolutely.
The Mavericks, all sorts of momentum right now, 14-7 in a very fast-moving first half. And it's the 6-4 Mavs looking to better cement their playoff positioning. That is the end of the first half, 14-7, San Diego on top of DC. To the boys, back in the studio for your APM Music halftime report.
In a do-or-die game, DC has not necessarily come out guns blazing. They're down 14-7 at the half to the San Diego Mavericks. And Tyler, give me your thoughts on a first half that the first quarter really came and went. Second quarter is when things started to cook.
Very quick moving quarter, as you mentioned. But actually, to use one of the bullets that Cam put up right at the beginning of pregame, San Diego's not necessarily a passing offense anymore. They got a great defense. The running game started to come along. Those deep passes are the only thing that's pretty much working here for San Diego. Yes, they've been able to march down the field and run the ball pretty well, but take a look at Patterson. Barring that goal line interception, which is still advised in general, Patterson, 2 touchdowns, 162 yards unofficially, really having a phenomenal day throwing the football, 8 of 10 passing. Eagle flying, Robo, arigato, Mr. Robo, is what San Diego is saying at the moment. 3 catches, 94 yards, that all-important 90-yard reception going for that touchdown. The big passes have really gotten DC, who, for all intents and purposes, are one of the best teams that contain the big passing game, to contain passers in general. They usually have a solid offense, and tonight San Diego has taken advantage of them.
Yeah, they absolutely have. And I mean, at the risk of being fired, San Diego up until the midpoint of the second quarter were more muted on offense than Cam and Paul were at the beginning of the game. And and all of a sudden they got going. The 96-yard touchdown strike to be Robo was really what got it started. And then they just continue with the momentum. The pick didn't cost them anything, as Cam mentioned. So San Diego's in a good spot right now. And DC, not so much. They're having a hard time finding the pedal to get their vehicle moving in the forward-moving direction. But we move in a forward-moving direction pretty regularly around here, and we anticipate what people may not want to anticipate. And now Tyler and I are going to play a game of if the playoffs started today, and they don't, so no worries, but a couple of intriguing matchups, to say the least, if things were to cement today as far as regular season standings. I'm going to give you some matchups, and I want you to give me your favorite one going into the hypothetical playoffs if they started. Arizona, Carolina, that would be in Arizona. Vancouver, San Diego in Vancouver, London, Las Vegas in London, Tulsa, Mexico City in Tulsa. I like playing this game because, again, they're hypothetical, but they're always fun to imagine. Give me your favorite, and if it's not the same, give me your most exciting of those four.
Oh, this is tough because it's not a whole lot of matchups we typically would imagine in the playoffs. It just shows how deep this season has been and how much of a traffic jam or a log jam or whatever jam it is, maybe toe jam it is right now, trying to just get into the playoffs. I mean, Carolina at this point, they were one of my last four in or out coming into a few weeks ago. We've talked about it a couple of times.
They were your last four out. They were
Carolina,
your first out.
And Carolina, just right now, as it sits, still in. They still have to take care of business against Charleston next week, and hopefully chips fall their way. But after that win against Baltimore, their strength of victory, of course, have shot up. I would like to see Carolina in the playoffs, and I think the Arizona-Carolina matchup, with how Arizona has been kind of unsettled after losing to Charleston. If Carolina can beat Charleston, I mean, you go right down the row. So if my enemy of my enemy is my friend, or if I beat this one team that the team I'm playing against has not beaten, am I better than that team even though they have a better record than me? That, I think, would be my favorite game to watch.
So actually, that's an intriguing matchup because Carolina lost to Arizona earlier on in the season, where Matt South, the starting quarterback for Carolina, went out in the first quarter. And then we had a DiGiorno delivered cheesy pizza in the quarterback spot for Carolina. And that game only ended up being a touchdown apart. So that is one that I think Carolina has circles. I think they would like another stab at that if at all possible. But you look at the other options, the one that I have circled as of right now would actually be London, Las Vegas is my look at this point, because while London did not have a great beginning of the season, they've really turned it on of late. And then Las Vegas, who had an awesome start to the season and then fell down quite a bit, they're clinging to any kind of momentum that they can find. So two teams in opposite spots than they were at the beginning of the season, but when the playoffs are here, it really doesn't matter.
I'm right there with you, partner. Really good call on that one. Back to your point on Cheesy Pizza, Diva of the Week on Axis Live, the week he did accomplish that. Back to Vegas and London, two opposite moving teams, and that's how we led into right now. Vegas is a French tank, while London is steaming ahead on a freight train. And it'd be really interesting to see, too, Eric Price versus Johnny Pickler, two high-flying quarterbacks and two offenses that historically I'd like to throw the ball. I know Robert Merrill has really got involved more often than not in the running game, has really made London a much more fearsome unit to take down. Las Vegas really having trouble finding Scott Johnson and having Scott Johnson going. So lots of different storylines we could go with for if London were to play Las Vegas. And I think that is a very good pick by you.
Yep, it's okay. So looking ahead to week 14, it's the last week of the regular season. We're going to take the hypotheticals out of the situation. We see the playoff situation as it sits right now. Your four byes: Atlanta, Baltimore, Minnesota, Fort Worth. Atlanta cinches the 1 seed with a win or a Baltimore loss, I believe. And that is and that puts Minnesota in a good spot after their comeback win. They come through in the clutch. They are in a good spot at the 3 spot. Fort Worth, the division winner in the South. Do you see any of those 4 seeds moving after week 14's games?
This is going to be tough because Atlanta has Florida, and Florida are desperately looking for a playoff spot.
And to prove you wrong, by the way.
Exactly, and to prove me wrong too. Like I said they were done at the beginning of the season when they went 0-4. All of a sudden they kicked Louisiana in the gut, and all of a sudden they start running all the way back. Mighty's having a mighty fine comeback.
This is your fault, right?
Oh, I know it's totally my fault.
Okay.
The whole 2-10 thing started with me trying to diss Atlanta after having a couple of good seasons, having a championship getting season, and all of a sudden they go into the playoffs. My 2-10 predictions, you're out of the playoffs after 4 weeks. Just throw them out the window. Take them with a grain of salt. And but Atlanta and Florida, I think, is a really good one to watch for. As far as Atlanta is already in, they want that first playoff seed.
Yep.
And Florida needs a win. It's they have to hope that San Diego falters here, otherwise they're already out.
Mm-hmm.
But if DC comes back and Florida is able to take care of business against Atlanta, that's massive for Florida to strike the victory. But it's also a statement of intent from them, because it knocks down Atlanta potentially to the number 2 seed with a Baltimore win over these DC Dragons. And if DC win here tonight, I mean, they're looking at Baltimore and they're looking, we have to win to stay in this. It's a must win. So either team is looking for a win, and they have to win out. Both DC, Florida need to win out. So I think that probably the most topsy-turvy movers is probably Baltimore and Atlanta, just with how chaotic it all can be.
Does your gut tell you that Mexico City is en route?
I've watched a couple of games this season.
Mm-hmm.
My gut take, Mexico City's out. I think it's the first time in 14 seasons they don't make the postseason, and it's tough to watch. It is hard to watch, and especially Sipestun has had to come in and fill the best quarterback in SFL history shoes. There's no other way of putting it. He had to come in and fill Matt Wilson's shoes. It was going to be a tough ask from the beginning. To get them 7 wins is more than I thought they would get entirely this season. He's done a commendable job. Mexico City have nothing but they should be proud of. They should be proud of everything they've accomplished so far. I think they're out this season based on how deep the structure is for the postseason.
You lose one of the all-time greats at quarterback. You lose a Hall of Fame tight end as well, and still end up at 7 wins, possibly 8, and possibly a playoff berth at a fairly high seed. That's something to be proud of for sure. Mexico City can hang their hat on that for sure. One last gut take for you, Vancouver. Is this the season they get their 2nd win in the playoffs, or do you see a falter from them?
Well, if they play San Diego, I think they're going to have a very tough ball game. It will be in Vancouver, but as we all know, it's home field advantage is not as powerful as they found out versus Lone Star last season. So I say coin flip with their current hypothetical matchup. I say coin flip. I think if they get Las Vegas, or if they get maybe Carolina or Houston, I think they stand a better chance of getting their 2nd playoff win in franchise history.
Okay. All right. Well, that about covers the bases for a week 14 to come. Of course, this is the playoff scenario show happening Saturday night, week 14. That happens at 11:30 p.m. Eastern, or after games, whichever comes later. That being said, there's a lot more playoff scenarios to figure out, a lot more football to go in this 20th regular season in SFL history. But there's plenty of football left in this game as well. It is a 1-touchdown advantage. The DC Dragons looking to try to come back in their playoff game as they try to finish out the regular season on a hot streak and find their way into the playoff tournament. For Tyler Falk, I'm Chris Curtis. We'll see you at postgame. Cameron Irvine and Paul Sarp on the other side with the second half, San Diego and DC at the Dungeon.
You don't want to take that super chat?
Moo.
Well, Tyler did it.
I missed it. Go for it.
Well, the super chat, $1.99.
Super chat's for you, Curtis.
It's for you.
It's for you. You better not mute yourself.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely didn't mute myself. And it's from Skip. Yeah, it's from Skip. What is that?
Are you? We're trying to get to the second half here. If you could just appease the audience, because that's what.
All right. Let's move on.
Well, that failed to meet expectations. We'll be right back. Start of the second half. Along with Paul Sarp. I'm Cameron Irvine. Always entertaining. Always adventurous with Tyler Falk and Chris Curtis. Great conversation, guys, about the playoffs and upcoming Week 14. Hopefully I'm not muted. And back here with Paul Sarp to start the second half in San Diego. And the Mavericks will get the ball to start the 27-yard line. We saw nothing but DC's offense in the first quarter, and I feel like we saw nothing but San Diego's in the second.
Yeah, most definitely. And I believe I'm clean, good to go, unmuted, ready to see some great football in the second half as well to join you, Cam. And as you mentioned, San Diego just kind of showed up to the game late and showed up in the second quarter, but managed to see them and find themselves in a 14-7 lead against DC.
Patterson gets totally taken out. Where's the flag on that? Went low on the legs, and he somersaulted over after the 3-yard pickup from Matson. That was just dirty.
Yeah, definitely a little dirty hit there on the
Wow.
franchise quarterback, Scar Patterson. But thankfully, he was able to get up and is looking to have his third impressive drive in a row.
That was ridiculous. Gain of 3, handoff to Nakai, picks up 1, 3rd down and 6. You know, the chat thought that I didn't know that I was on mic. Just because I make a mistake earlier in the game doesn't mean that I'm just constantly going to continue with blunders. It was I wanted the audience to know that I recognized the super chat and that Curtis failed to do so. What's wrong with that? 3rd and 6. Patterson back to pass, off the hands and incomplete. Looked like maybe some miscommunication on who the intended target was. I believe Nakai ended up on the ground. Matson was also in the area. Let's look at this again.
The pass was right there. Just Lili Nakai just unable to secure the ball there, which would have easily been a first down.
Biff Markham in the chat saying, going to remember that. Now I'll go after Synergy. So things could get chippy here in the third with everything on the line. We're here for it.
Absolutely. Everything is virtually on the line for both of these teams. Their seasons are coming to be in check here in this matchup. And San Diego giving DC another chance to tie this game up.
Shanahan gets it out to the 34-yard line. San Diego has 138 yards on their 2 touchdown plays. They have 64 yards on the rest of their plays. But they lead 14-7. Sometimes you just need one.
Most definitely. And San Diego proved it twice now in this second quarter that Scar Patterson threw the ball up to his targets and they come down with it and had nothing but green in front of them.
Hand off. Kevin Say gets 4 to the 33. The SFL convention is coming to Cincinnati, Ohio, July 28th through 30th for season 21 kickoff weekend. For room reservation details and the weekend schedule, see the hashtag convention alerts channel in the SFL Discord server. Rooms are going fast. Reserve your special group rate today. We'll see you there. Who's going to the convention? Raise your hand in the chat for us.
I know my hand's raised.
Tyler's hand's raised. Hand off on 2nd down and 6. Say. Tough run and not much there. Thunderman with the stop. 3rd down.
This linebacking core for San Diego has been busy all night. Thunderman with another big tackle there. You got Freddie Trammell with 3. Jeff Gagne with 8 on the game. Linebacking core is made up over half of this team's tackles.
Cliff Allen and Skip in training will be there for their first times at the convention as Josh Gill picks up a first down to the 46. Zach Holdorf will be at his first SFL convention. Walter's coming back. Biff Markham will be there for his first, unless he's yesing his defense. Josh Gill's been solid here on this near side tonight.
Yeah, and he's been Shabazz Synergy's main target. 4 targets, 3 receptions. Ronnie Shanahan with 2, Mike Churchill with 1, and Lauren Percoco with 2 to chip in as well.
Ron Haynes will be there, his first convention, as that handoff goes for a couple more. Chuck Steller's 3rd carry. DC getting back to what they were doing in the first quarter, trying, kind of resetting things a little bit down 7.
Yeah, just reset and refocus all your energy into the game plan that you guys had coming into the game, and we're seeing it here on this drive, kind of sights of that first quarter, how they just dominated the time clock.
Synergy looking short in the pass a little bit late. Jeff Gagne there again.
Yeah,
Mako
wow.
was the intended target. 3rd and 8.
Gagne just everywhere on the field. He's been having a tremendous game so far. 8 tackles. You just broke up a catch there, and you forced DC into 3rd and 8 instead of 3rd and short.
3rd down and 8, 8:02 to go in the third quarter. 14-7 San Diego. 5 wide for Synergy. Pass over the middle, incomplete. Taken away. Jumping the route. Pink Lisa with her first pass deflection of the night. DC stalls. They'll have to punt.
And Pink Lisa, the wife of the owner, Dave Axis, almost had another turnover for Shabazz Synergy. And when you have a quarterback like Shabazz Synergy, to force him into those types of passes is just a huge credit to the defense and the defensive coordinator and Mike O'Neill, who's put out a great game plan so far for DC.
7:53 left. Fair catch called for at the 19-yard line. That's called by Dave Axis, who does not have a target tonight. The only receiver without a catch outside of Adam Williams. Patterson 9 of 12, 165 yards in that first half of play. Sudo Nakai, 9 carries, 24 yards. Bravado had an 8-yard scamper. Three receivers, 2 to the right for San Diego. Patterson with 2 in the backfield against a nickel look. Will start the first possession of the half with a pass, and it's intercepted.
Wow.
You could see that coming from a mile away. Robo was well covered that time, and Peanut Says got his second takeaway of the night.
And a great job for the second time tonight from Peanut Say. That's 2 opportunities that he himself has created for this DC Dragons offense to try to tie this game up. And if you're Shabazz Synergy, you just gotta stay focused. If you're Kevin Say, just run the ball like you've been all night so far and put yourselves in a position to tie this game up.
Handoff to Say, got 1. Love the pace of play of this game tonight. I mean, it's a super well played game. We've seen Patterson's 2 picks, the throw late into the flat, jump ball, arm punt, whatever. Synergy, same thing, right? But very well played game. Shabazz outside. Stellar catch and near a first down. 3rd and inches officially. Trammell with the stop.
DC's found themselves in these 3rd and shorts all night so far. And here with about 7 minutes left in the third quarter, they find themselves in another 3rd and inches situation, just trying to extend another drive and give them another opportunity to score.
10th third down of the night. Kevin Say has dropped backwards. DC started 3 for 4 on 3rd down since. They are 1 for 6. Decision time, a 3rd drive of the night that stalls in San Diego territory.
And San Diego's defense is just doing an exceptional job to force this special teams punting unit to come out and giving Dave Axis an opportunity to put his team in good field position.
Punt is away inside the 10. Wilson for the 2nd time tonight.
Wow.
Deadens the ball inside the 5. More tough field position for Patterson as time ticks away. 6:17 to go here in the third quarter. A second look at it while we talk about Victor's Valiant. Miss any SFL action? Check out our highlights of SFL games on the SFL YouTube channel and on Highlight Nation, provided by Victor's Valiant, YouTube's premier sports highlight maker. Subscribe to Highlight Nation and Victor's Valiant on YouTube for all your sports highlight needs. I think the highlight of London-Fort Worth, nearly 1,000 views at this point on Highlight Nation. People loving it. Loss of 2 there. Nakai dropped at the 1. San Diego's in dangerous territory.
Dangerous territory indeed. This DC Dragons defensive front getting after Nakai there. And if I'm San Diego, I'm just trying to get a couple yards to get away from the goal line and try to not get a sack.
Bravado, fullback run. He gets 10. 18 yards on 2 carries tonight for Bravado. Gets him out of their own shadow of the end zone.
And that is just a great run from Bravado there. He didn't get the first down, but to make it 3rd and short on the 12 instead of 3rd and long on the 1, and possibly punting from deep in your own goal line. Great job there from Bravado.
By the way, shout out here on 3rd and 2. That's going to pick up a first down. Shout out to Charles Williams in the chat talking about hoping to get drafted. Hopefully he's made a player already through our Discord server, hoping to get drafted. And I'd love to call your name one of these days on draft night. First down for the Mavs.
Hearing your name called is always one of the best things on draft day. To get all these new players involved is what makes this community so great.
Patterson's pass caught by Williams, his first catch of the night, 6-yard gain. Hughes with the tackle. You remember when you were picked up, Paul? What
I do.
Number?
I do. 19th overall in the first round.
Sticks with you, doesn't it?
Yeah, most definitely. I rewatch the draft every so often just to witness it again. It was just a great feeling.
8 in the box for DC on 2nd down and 4, and they stack it and bring down Nakai for a 4-yard loss. 3rd and long coming up.
And we saw this in the first half. San Diego finds themselves in these 3rd down, 3rd and long situations, and Scar Patterson just airs it out and takes a shot. So let's see if he tries that for a 3rd time tonight on 3rd and 8.
Saeed Gore with the 2nd tackle for loss of the night, 3rd in total for DC. San Diego has 2. 3rd and 8 at the Mavericks 16. Patterson dumps it short. That was not the route Scar was looking for. Dumps it to Eagle, whose only catch earlier tonight went for 48 and a score. DC gets the stop.
That was the stop DC's needed, and they've been able to stop Scar Patterson in this Mavericks offense, but the defense their offense for DC hasn't been able to convert on these opportunities that the defense has given them.
Fair catch at the 44 by Shanahan. Eagle Mondavi in the chat. Why does everyone dislike San Diego? Who dislikes San Diego? These uniforms are definitely, they got to be top 10 for me, Paul.
Most definitely.
But this may be the best uniform match of the season we've had on Impact Monday.
I would definitely agree with that one, Cam.
Trips left for Synergy and the Dragons, who were up 7-0 early, down 14-7 now to the Mavericks. As Synergy steps with the pocket, nearly Oh, what a throw!
Wow.
Synergy, one lucky quarterback. That pass caught for a first down to the Maverick 45-yard line.
And we saw Synergy with a similar pass like that earlier in this game, just throwing an absolute dime, putting the ball to where only the receiver could catch it. Just a great pass there from Shabazz.
1st and 10, 3:12 to go in the 3rd as Synergy fires it outside, caught by Say. Say running down the sideline. He just made 2 people go in the complete opposite direction he went, but they went in 2 different directions. How does that even happen?
It just proves the type of player that Kevin Say is, and for those who can't hear it in the back, I'll say it louder. Kevin Say is putting it all out on the line tonight, trying to help tie this game up and keep DC's Dragons playoffs chances alive.
Say now 53 yards on 20 carries, 14 yards on 4 receptions. Josh Gill leads the team right now with 33 receiving yards on 4 grabs. Synergy out of the gun. Fires it into traffic, intercepted. Pass picked off by Stuart Zomilia, intended for Mike Churchill. He now has 1 catch on just 4 targets, and Synergy's thrown his 2nd pick of the night.
And just kudos to Stuart Zomilia, who, with his 3rd interception on the season, just took this DC Dragons offense off the field yet again for another time. And Shabazz Synergy, wishing he could get that one back, hasn't played his most accurate game so far tonight, but just a great job from Zomilia to get his team the ball back.
Pseudo Nakai, punishing run, his longest of the night, picks up 9 will bring up second and short for San Diego. Get the feeling, Paul, some kind of dam is about to break. We just don't know which for these two teams.
It's so close. Both of these teams, it looks like they're about to let up and lose some momentum, but just gaining it right back.
Back and forth we go, blowing up the entire play. Jason Bourne, loss of 1.5 yards, 3rd and 2.
And speaking of rookies, Jason Bourne, picked in the 2nd round, pick 44, making a play there for his team, forcing a 3rd down that the DC Dragons have done before and need to do again to get the ball back.
3rd and 2, Nakai, stop!
Gets it.
A gain of just 1, Gore and company there, along with John Gary. This D-line has been terrific. Fortson taken in the 1st round, Bourne taken in the 2nd round. If I'm DC, they are my number 1 and number 2 priorities of re-signing in terms of this class as they enter into season 21.
Absolutely, and looking at these rosters and seeing how these teams are constructed, it's interesting to see how DC's built through the draft and San Diego under new ownership has built through free agency and only made 1 rookie selection in this previous draft.
Yeah, two different styles this offseason for sure, as Synergy will come back out trying to. The slants have killed DC tonight. Huge credit to San Diego. They have been, I mean, just in perfect position all night long. Their defense has been fantastic. 4 wide here for Synergy on 1st down at the 36-yard line. 14-7, San Diego clinging to a 7-point lead as, again, they go down the middle of the field, and again it's covered. The offense crawling now for the Dragons as Gill was the intended target.
And Gill has been Shabazz Synergy's number 1 target all night so far. As you mentioned earlier, Mike Churchill's been fairly quiet, only 15 yards on the night. If I'm Shabazz Synergy in DC, got to get Mike Churchill involved and possibly try and catch this Mavericks defense off guard with one of these plays.
3.5 yards per play. Hand off to Kevin Say. Try and get the ground game going, and there is nothing there for Kevin on the ground.
I'll tell you what, Cam, both of these defenses, they're playing fabulous defense so far through 3 quarters.
It's been a great game. I mean, these are 2 teams that would most certainly duel well in the playoffs, as the pass is knocked and we thought it was going to get picked again. Looking for Gill. Like Gill is frustrated. That one was knocked down by Tom Krieg. And DC just, I mean, it's starting to feel like they're just clinging now. If San Diego gets another huge play, it could be lights out.
Yeah, and DC's defense has, for the last 2 quarters, has kept them in this game and has gotten this Mavericks offense off of the field. But just in that 2nd quarter, we saw 2 plays go for 60-plus yards just like that, and that's how we've gotten here. But DC's defense just has to stay in it and keep a struggling offense in the game.
What pick did you say you were, Paul, in the first round?
I was the 19th.
19th pick, and that was Florida that picked you. Ron Haynes in our
Yes,
stat truck. He was picked in a different draft, 1st round, 15th overall selection. Current tight end as you moved on to Seattle. And we got a couple first rounders in here. Tyler Falk was the number 1 overall pick by these San Diego Mavericks, so he was a 1st round selection. Maybe Zach Holdorf can fill us in on when he was picked up, and believe Curtis's acquisition was pre-draft era. That's a loss of 1 for Nakai, 2nd and 11.
Hey, I'll tell you one thing, Cam. The Florida Storm does not miss on tight ends. That is one thing I know for certain.
Yeah. Yep, got Veridin Zarkov in there as well. Zach says he thinks he was fourth round as an offensive lineman. That's a story for another night, as Patterson goes long, 1st down to the DC 44. That pass was hauled in by none other than Dave Axis. His first catch of the night. San Diego up 14-7 We'll be right back. You're watching Impact Monday on the SFL's YouTube network.
Presentation of the Simulation Football League is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or account of the game without the express written consent of the league office is prohibited.
Birthday boy Mike O'Neill is in the house. 1st and 10, start of the fourth quarter. 4s, 12s, 86s, 68s in the chat. Sudo Nakai has a first down to the 32. Longest run of the night. Sudo's starting to cook. San Diego's got all the momentum right now.
Most definitely, Cam, and that was a great run from Sudo Nakai on the previous play. We saw Dave Axis with a game appearance with a huge 27-yard reception, and this Mavericks offense is just flying down the field right now, and just with a 7-point lead, with you having all of the momentum, it's like the DC Dragons are just hanging on for dear life, trying not to fall off.
1st and 10 of the DC 32, 10.5 to go in the fourth quarter. San Diego up 14-7. That pass is almost intercepted. Oh, just knocked right into the hands of the waiting defenders. That was John Patrick Levine who had a chance. John DeSantis initially deflected it.
He has 2 opportunities there to get the ball back. He definitely got to someone has to step up and make a play. You had 2 opportunities there that you wish you could have back, but this defense is playing great. They've bended all game. They haven't necessarily broken other than on 2 plays, but someone has got to step up, and I'm interested to see who it may be.
John DeSantis fooled Scar Patterson, played that play absolutely beautifully. Outside to Nakai. Nakai will pick up 4 to the DC 28. Florida, Sioux Falls, and DC potentially eliminated with a San Diego victory, trying to hang on to slim playoff hopes. For DC at 5-5, they still have absolutely legitimate playoff hopes. If they were to get a win over Baltimore and San Diego in back-to-back weeks, that would shoot them up the tiebreaker ranks. Patterson, deep shot, down the field, intercepted by John DeSantis at the 14-yard line. The fantastic defense by both teams tonight continues. Patterson upset with himself.
Wow, wow, wow. John DeSantis stepping up for his team, giving the offense their 3rd opportunity of the night, and Scar Patterson most definitely frustrated with himself at that one. That touchdown would have been number 100 for his career, and John DeSantis just giving the Shabazz Synergy another chance to lead his team down the field.
Needed points there in a game that has been void of them to try and get up 2 possessions. Instead, it's Stellar for a 5-yard gain to the 19-yard line. I'd love the change of pace tonight with Stellar, his 4th carry to help keep Say fresh. Say up to 21 tonight.
And 53 yards to add on to those 21 attempts, only averaging 2.5 tonight, on the season averaging 5.4, so not playing up to par as far as he has this season, but definitely has made an impact tonight.
Flip out to Say, and Synergy got rocked. Say still on his feet and almost went back beyond the first down line. Synergy nailed around the midsection.
And one of the hardest running backs to bring down, as we see on this play, shaking a defender off, spinning off of another, and spinning out of bounds to get that first down for your team. And although Synergy has thrown 2 interceptions tonight, he's still throwing just under 70%, and he has a prime opportunity here to tie this ball game up in the fourth quarter.
1st and 10 of the 28, 9:05 to go. Shabazz nearly sacked again. Kevin Say stabs it with one hand. Gets 6 to the 34. Dude's he's just amazing.
Most definitely is. For how much he gets the ball, or as he has tonight, the yards per carry not necessarily there, but the impact that he's been able to make, he's helped extend how many drives now. That first quarter was basically all him. To find yourselves down 7's got to be frustrating, but you're in a spot to change the tide of this game.
Hand off up the middle, near a first down, got 3. That's Stellar with his 5th carry. Both teams have struggled in 3rd and short. Remember, DC started 3 for 4 on third down. They are 1 of their last 7.
They've really cooled down on third down since that first quarter, and this is one that kind of feels like they have to convert here.
Handoff, middle, got it. Woo! Stellar again with that big frame. Gets a first down, and DC keeps the drive moving.
Chuck Stellar doing a great job fighting for that last yard to be able to extend the drive and continue to go at your pace rather than playing a little bit off-brand and play desperately, as they may happen to find themselves if they can't score here on this drive. Just a great job to move the chains there.
7:35 left in the fourth. Hand off to Say. Say is decked. 3-yard loss. Nate Hall with his first TFL of the night. Hey, if you're liking the game so far, do us a favor and smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The SFL produces over 400 events a year. There is no one else that gives you more football. Don't miss a minute of SFL or SFLM action and help the channel grow through your support. Thank you for helping the SFL reach 10 years of operation through your viewership. Synergy on second and long, throws an interception, and one block needed for Hendricks. Hendricks spins away and wrapped up by a lineman at the DC 27. The Dragons' short middle game continues to plague them. San Diego's 7 minutes away from ruining 3 teams' playoff hopes.
That is a huge interception from Tanner Hendricks. Second of the night, making defenders miss. You've already scored twice in the season. You already just got your second interception, so why not try to take it back to the house to make it a 2-possession game? But that's just a great interception from Hendricks to put San Diego in an even better position, just as DC was starting to gain some momentum.
From Ron Haynes, Leon Thunderman with that pass deflection on the interception. This is Patterson, intercepted at the 17. DC gets it right back. Pass picked off by Josh Vasquez. This has season 19 championship fourth quarter vibes right now.
Wow, this is just incredible right now. Just all these huge players making huge plays and season's on the line here for DC if they can't beat San Diego here. But wow, just this is incredible football, and these defenses just refuse to give up.
6:57 left, more new life for the Dragons. Synergy, deep drop back, fires down the field, caught by Percoco in a foot race. Percoco wrapped up by Hendricks at the 29. She's got another first down for the Dragons.
Wow, Cam. 3 receptions for 33 yards for Percoco before that one, and this is the exact splash play that the Dragons needed to get the momentum back after a huge Josh Vasquez interception, to be able to take a shot to your tight end, Lauren Percoco, and get into San Diego territory is just a fantastic job from this Dragons offense.
Lauren Percoco now 17 yards away from being the game's leader. That's receivers, running backs, and tight ends. 77 yards on 4 catches, 4 targets. First and 10 at the San Diego 29. Deep drop back for Synergy, going for a lot, and has a lot to Percoco down to the 15-yard line of San Diego. She's taken over.
Hashtag throw it to the tight end. Lauren Percoco, back-to-back plays, getting into the red zone. This is just phenomenal offense being played here on this drive from Shabazz Synergy, and to be able to find your tight end and just move the ball down the field in 2 plays is exactly the shift in momentum that the Dragons needed.
Heavy look here for DC. 6:07 to go in the fourth quarter, and the handoff goes to Stellar, picking up 6 to the Maverick 9-yard line. Under 6 to go. Desperate times for many around the league.
Playoff hopes on the line tonight, and these teams are playing desperate football. We've seen these defenses play exceptional tonight, and we're in for a very interesting finish to the season and this game on Impact Monday.
5:35 to go. Synergy going to throw outside, short of the sticks. That's Percoco again, down to the 6-yard line. Stellar helps her up. 3rd and 2.
And on 3rd and short here, it's been a bit of a struggle for Shabazz and company. But if you've been finding Lauren Percoco, sheesh, gotta look that way again.
3rd and 2. That pass is caught by Gill. Touchdown, DC. They're an extra point away from tying it up.
Wow. Josh Gill has had a tremendous game. That's now his 5th reception for 39 yards. 2nd touchdown on the night. The 2 lone touchdowns for DC. We have a chance for a tie ball game here late in the 4th quarter.
Great route combo there. They've been all over Mike Churchill tonight. Churchill goes inside, and the defense just got caught napping. Gill with the score. Both touchdowns for DC tonight by way of Josh Gill.
Hey, when Mike Churchill is being covered like that, why not put your faith in Josh Gill, one of Shabazz Synergy's favorite targets so far in season 20.
We are tied at 14. That drive for DC, 5-play, 72-yard drive, and it was all Synergy through the air, basically, and Stellar. And again, talk about keeping safe fresh. He had 21 carries about 10 minutes ago, just 22. Currently, 5:06 left. Didn't even need him on that drive. From 1 yard inside the end zone, Dave Axis on the return. Cut down to the 22. 5:02 remains in this ball game. APM Music is unrivaled music to bring your stories to life, inspiring every production with the world's most robust and constantly refreshed music collection, state-of-the-art technology, and world-class customer service. APM Music is the official soundtrack of the Simulation Football League. To explore their library and to find the perfect tracks for your projects, visit apmmusic.com. 5:02 left. How will San Diego respond? They have played terrific tonight. Pseudo Nakai picks up 5 to the Mavs 27.
And after a back and forth battle all night, we basically find ourselves with a brand new game, 0-0, 5 minutes in the game. Who's going to be the one to help their team make an impactful play and come out victorious tonight?
96 viewers right now. This game should have 100 the way it's been played tonight. Nakai's got a first down. Go grab your friends. Tell them to turn it on as Nakai gets a first down to the 34. Nakai's had a excellent second half.
Most definitely, and being a little quiet in the first half, finally getting going here for Pseudo Nakai. When you have someone like Mateo Privado blocking for you, I'll tell you what, when the offensive line can open up a hole like that, it's like a bus could drive through it, Cam.
50 yards, 18 carries. I see what you did there, man. You just almost got through it. Patterson, step up in the pocket. That pass is caught.
Wow.
To the DC 40. That's B. Robo. Now over 100 yards on the night. First down, San Diego.
Wow, Scar Patterson with that receptions now at 1,000 career completions. So kudos to Scar for that. And what a time to make a play there, throwing it up to B. Robo. Now over the century mark for the game. Wow. What a fourth quarter.
The numbers don't look all that pretty, but you see the QBR, almost 100 for Patterson because he's just been able to deliver on some deep shots time and time again for San Diego tonight. 3:40 to go in the fourth. Three-step drop back, got a room to run, and Patterson's got a first down and more, all the way to the 25. Woo-hoo! The C parts for Scar, and he's got another first down.
And Scar Patterson not afraid to take off and run there. When you have nothing but field in front of you, that's nothing but a first down for this Mavericks offense.
3:15 left. Handoff, Privado picks up 5. The big question now is, will DC get another chance? The way San Diego's working the football.
It's looking like it, and this Mavericks offense is just yet again flying down the field. And if I'm San Diego, I definitely want to try to run the ball here to take some time off of the clock, because it's looking like you're going to score, and you just don't want to give DC enough time to score themselves.
2nd and 5 at the 20. Patterson, sidearm pass caught inside the 10. Adam Williams, no catches in the first, 2 in the second, and that is now 6 different players with at least 2 catches for San Diego. First and goal at the 10.
And Adam Williams just moving the chains once more as we're nearing the 2-minute warning. DC still has 2 timeouts left if San Diego does score here.
First and goal at the 10. Patterson, bleeding clock, play fake. Patterson floats
he got it.
Touchdown! Benji Matson adds to his tight end lead. That pass was perfect.
A perfect pass from Scar Patterson. That's 100 in his career. That's Benji Matson's 8th on the season. Leads all tight ends in touchdowns. And what a time for Matson to come alive and add 6 points to the scoreboard for his team.
The legend of Scar Patterson continues in just his 3rd SFL season. Patterson already a top 40 quarterback in passing yards, top 30 quarterback nearly in touchdowns. The extra point is good, 21-14. San Diego answers DC's touchdown drive with one of their own. What a terrific game.
And it's just been back and forth, an absolute chess match between these two teams. And the level of football that is being played right now with these playoff implications on the line, it's just an absolute sight to see tonight, Cam.
2:03 left from the 7. That would indicate to me that the wind is at the back of Pawty if it ever came down to it. 2 minutes to go. San Diego up on DC 21-14. Dragons trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. You're watching Impact Monday on the SFL YouTube. Max is saying his blood pressure is through the roof. We feel ya. 1:59 left. Shabazz Synergy throws incomplete. If they try to go short middle on this drive, I wouldn't. I don't see a comeback happening. They've got to find something else.
And they got to channel in the energy that they had in that last drive to take a shot down the field to Lauren Percoco for 57 yards is just a great play, and you got to try to take another chance like that here on this drive.
3 wide, 2nd and 10 now. Patterson 21-30. Or Shabazz 21-30 as that pass is caught by Percoco. Did not get out of bounds. 3rd and 3, 1:45 and counting. Quickly up to the line. Gill's at top of your screen, Churchill at the bottom. Synergy's pass to Gill. It is caught at the 49-yard line of San Diego. Gill laid out for that one. His 6th catch.
Great catch from Gill. Great pass from Shabazz. Trying to save their 2 timeouts here.
1:25 left. Synergy down the field. Caught again at the 32-yard line, and I think they actually have all 3. They took that one in the first half, so thank you for the correction there, Paul. 1:10 to go in the 4th. Pass is incomplete. Zomilia breaks it up, 2nd down.
We saw Zomilia with an interception earlier in the second half. Almost had another one there, and I'll tell you what, he would have had nothing but green grass in front of him, Cam.
How about Josh Gill and Michael Percoco tonight? 14 catches, 172 yards combined.
Wow.
On a night that Churchill, 3rd in the league in yards per reception, has just 15 yards on 1 catch, 5 targets. Here's Synergy going down to Shanahan, and Shanahan is marked short of the sticks at the San Diego 23. Tackle by Trammell, 3rd and inches with 1:03 left.
And that is an absolutely close call there. He looked very close to that first down, but unable to get there. You're in a 3rd and inches situation with your season on the line. Let's see how DC responds.
3rd and inches Do they hand it to Say? No, but they may pass it to him. Hey, fooled San Diego on that one. Say makes a spin move down to the 15-yard line. 55 seconds left, still in no huddle. That is Say's first touch of the ball in the last 2 drives. They hand it off to Kevin Say. He's cut down. No gain. They're still running no huddle. 42 seconds left.
Strap into your seats, folks. We got a thriller.
Synergy to Say. Say looking for a block. Say trying to get out of bounds. No, does not. Tackled at the 9. Timeout. 2 left. 31 seconds left.
Wow. And Shabazz Synergy is leading an exceptional drive here to answer Scar Patterson's exceptional drive for San Diego. Trying to tie this game up. You got 31 seconds. Let's see how Shabazz responds.
Say now up to 8 catches, 43 yards. 4 wide for Shabazz, 3rd and 4. 31 seconds left. Dime look for San Diego. Synergy looking in zone. Picked off! They went slants again. And San Diego may have just said goodbye to the DC Dragons this season.
Zach Holdorf trying to seal the game for his team with that interception. To be able to get a red-hot Shabazz Synergy off of the field and making a play for your team, that is just a tremendous job from Holdorf there.
And with only 2 timeouts on the clock, 3 knees will do it. And the Mavericks score a much-needed victory in the playoff race. They will join the wild and wacky wild cards teams at 7 and 4. And they now have the inside track to making the playoffs. They have Denver next week. An 8th win would clinch a playoff spot for San Diego. If they lose, obviously, they go into the 7 and 5 meltdown at the bottom of the standings. But San Diego has just accomplished their toughest task here tonight, beating the Dragons. And that makes things a little bit more complicated for Atlanta, because now DC is not going to have much to play for next week as Baltimore tries to catch the Swarm for the number 1 seed.
And what a game that we just saw for San Diego to increase their franchise record in wins. Just a truly great game and performance from everyone on San Diego. DC played tremendous as well, fighting with everything on the line. Just to come up 7 points short is tough, but a great showing from both of these teams tonight, Cam.
Terrific defense in the second half when it mattered the most. DC responded to tie the game, and then San Diego landed the last punch with their offense, and then with Zach Holdorf on the defensive side of the football. San Diego now 7 and 4. They win 21-14. Sioux Falls, Florida, DC out. To Tyler Falk and Chris Curtis back in the studios. Look at those stats. Almost dead even. What a game. San Diego gets the win. Let's join them now.
The Mavericks win a thriller in a last-second interception in the fourth quarter. DC tried and tried and tried. They could not get it done, and their season is effectively done as well. Chris Curtis, Tyler Falk with you in SFL headquarters for the APM Music postgame. And Tyler, good game by both teams. Good season by San Diego and DC so far. DC is done. Give me your review of DC in a nutshell in season 20.
Well, it wasn't for the lack of trying, right? Especially when the doctor came in. Looks like she, remedied what the woes were in that third quarter for both teams. Lots of turnovers in that third quarter. All of a sudden, Coco gets them back. Gil punches in his second touchdown. It makes it an all-tie ball game. But it came down to just about 3 minutes of play. Both quarterbacks were on fire. San Diego got on the board first after the game was back effectively to 0-0. Scar Patterson just a little bit too wayward there Scar Patterson perfect. Synergy a little bit too wayward there at the end. And that's how their season ends. Just just one too many mistakes. Costs them, costs Sioux Falls, costs Florida, costs any other team now that finishes at 500 is out, which means more than one team with 7 wins will not make the playoffs this season. That is going to be insane.
Who's it gonna be is the main question there. And you take a look at some of the playoffs standings at the moment. One team that I have my eyes set on is one Tulsa. The reason I have my eyes set on Tulsa is because this is a team that last season was the team that got knocked out of the playoffs at 7-5. That is something that's a bit of a storyline to keep track of for sure. As San Diego gets into the 7-win club, they join Tulsa, Mexico City, Las Vegas, London, Vancouver in that upper echelon. This Mavericks team, talking about them for a second, Tyler, earlier on in the season, as soon as probably 3 weeks ago, they were losing games that were tests for them. And we're looking at these results and we're going, well, San Diego may just end up playing themselves out of it with these results. They have not shown up when it mattered most, but here they are in the thick of it, still with a chance at the playoffs.
The one loss that comes to me, partner, for San Diego was the Canton loss in week 6 when they lost to the backup quarterback of Canton in a crazy, very close and tighty knit affair, almost like tonight, except there was a lot less scoring in that game. But for San Diego, they have some quote unquote good losses too. They've lost to Baltimore, lost to Arizona, some 2 really good teams. They really don't have, a statement win. Maybe London week 1, maybe Carolina is another team that you're looking at as far as a statement win if Carolina wins and gets to 7-5. But those are all ifs at this point. There's not really one that stands out. Of course, played really well tonight and gets the win and knocks out a few teams and makes the postseason push that much more insane for so many teams on the outside looking in, and the teams that, like Mexico City, like Tulsa, could very well slip out of the playoffs if they don't play their cards right in the final week of the regular season.
I'm going to ask this with no looking at the standings as it sits right now in regards to SOV. With San Diego not really having a big statement win, how likely are they to be one of the teams that are out at 7-5 in a week from now when we're looking at the scenarios?
Oh boy.
I hate to say that. They just got off a really nice win, but looking at it, things as they stand, there are teams with more quality wins than them.
I'm going to look for all these teams.
Yeah.
You have to win them all, but for all these teams next week, it becomes 7-5 doesn't cut it. 2, maybe 3 teams with 7-5 might be out next week. So each team must win. San Diego has Denver, who beat Las Vegas last week, a team that's up there and looking to maybe have the West Division. Las Vegas could lose to Arizona and be knocked out of the playoff contention. This is going to be insane. Getting updates here from Cameron Irvine, the SFL commissioner. San Diego wins next week, they will clinch. It is a win and clinch scenario for San Diego. Thank you, SFL commissioner. Any 8th win clinches a playoff spot, according to Cameron Irvine as well. So,
however, that does open the door, because if San Diego were to lose, they're a 7-5 team and they could be out.
Very much so. Very much so.
Interesting. Lot of dominoes left to fall and one more week to try to figure it out. Games start at 8 p.m. Eastern on Friday night. That is the first one ready to go, and I don't have the schedule in front of me as to what that game is. That's fine. Either way. There you go. Atlanta, Florida, Baltimore, D.C. That's your Friday night doubleheader. And so there's a lot of dominoes just in those couple of games that very well could be told. So a lot of football left. One more week to decide who gets into the postseason playoff tournament, and that ends the penultimate week of Impact Mondays. We will see you for a hotly contested Week 14 for Tyler Falk, Cameron Irvine, Paul Sarp, and Statisticians. I'm Chris Curtis saying goodbye and good night. We will see you Friday at a same place, same time. Have a good night, everybody.